All right, what's going on? How's it going, chat? Turn this music down. Like so. Hope everyone's doing well. Appreciate everyone tuning in early. Hey, Candace Miles. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I saw we had Doc in here. How's it going, Doc? Hope you're doing good. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We had our new synthetic fly tying video come out recently. And it's doing pretty good, so I'm happy about that. And we got to work on some new videos here soon. I was working on some videos for my other channel, Mike Rolls Dice. So we got to film some fly time videos. So we got to see what sort of... I had a couple recommendations, so I was thinking we could try and tie them and then get... I like before tying a new fly, because I've never tied these flies. So if I'm going to do a video on it, tying a couple versions of it and wrapping my head around it first before making a video. Doing good, doing good. Can't complain. It's been pretty cold here, but not absolutely freezing, so it's not the worst. This is what we tied last week on stream. Nice little squimpish Naiad hollow. These were fun. I kind of want to put these on like Anglers Marketplace. Those are nice. Wouldn't mind picking a couple colors of squimpish hair and then getting some more Naiad for those. But what's going on, Sandman? How you doing? Synthetic video was great. I'm glad. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed it, so that's good. It took me quite a while. Like that in comparison to a normal video takes forever, right? So it definitely... It's good when people watch it, because I'm a little apprehensive at times. Like, oh, dude, I've spent like a week working on that video. As opposed to just a fly time video. I sit down and record it. And it's pretty much done, and, you know, it's much easier to edit. As opposed to a long discussion type video. Alright. So I'm just grabbing a couple materials. We got some hooks here. I had a couple recommendations for some flies. There was one that I was interested in because it's from a tyer that I really like. He's a very good author as well. So I got a couple hooks here. I was figuring we could try that out because it's a little funky in terms of, like, I don't know how the material goes, so it might be fun to figure out together. And of course, if we have any recommendations, we can always... Oh, I also got... Is that over here? Where is that? I think it'll be a good day because we're doing something crab related to break out the ultra chenille that we got and make our own crab legs and stuff. What we do is we tie saltwater flies. So, for instance, we take a bare hook and then we will put either natural or synthetic materials on it and make it look like a baitfish. Or, for instance, we're going to tie some crab imitations, and this is what we use for saltwater fly fishing, for striped bass, for all sorts of different species of fish and game fish. And then my other YouTube channel, Mike Rolls Dice, I make battle reports. Similar to like Warhammer, but not Warhammer, a different game, Conflict 47, based off of like World War II, but an alternate reality. That channel is doing very good, I must say. I'm excited to start earning ad revenue on there, because that channel is actually doing better than the fly tying one. Fly fishing is a little bit of a niche market on YouTube. That being said, this is my main channel, if you will. This is where I put most of my time and effort. This is what I do for a living, is tie saltwater flies. So I'll show you what fly we're actually going to imitate. Real quick, I should have muted that first, but that's alright. You get the deal. A little noise there. So, oh, give me one sec, hold on. I have to do this every time This old Elgato capture card that I have. But so Alan Callejo's Callo, I still don't know. I mean, I've had multiple people correct me on pronouncing his name or pronouncing his name. I still don't necessarily know it or how to do it properly. But Alan Callejo is what I always said, and I think I'm saying it wrong, so don't quote me on that. But his Diablo crab flies. Somebody on Instagram reached out and asked me, I don't remember who, but I have quite a lot of people that, which is great because it makes it easier when it comes to me trying to figure out what sort of videos to do. But I have a book from this guy right here, and it's called Sight Fishing for Striped Bass. And it's really, there was like the only book at the time about sight fishing for stripers. And this is back, you know, this is around, I'd say maybe like early 2000s. So we're starting to get internet, like fly fishing stuff on the internet. But so you still needed to read books to like figure stuff out, and he was one of the first books with sight fishing for stripers. So this is a crab fly for striped bass, but he also that was for old World War II photo for a video I made for Mike Rolls Dice. I used it as a background, but he also what do you call it? I think that's a blackfish, by the way, if I'm not wrong. He also used it for oh no, that's a snapper. Okay, I'm sorry. He also used it for like bonefish and stuff like that. So it's a pretty interesting fly. It's got a lot of natural material, and then it's got rubber legs. But it's pretty simple. I think if I'm not wrong, yeah. Here's the ingredients or the materials. Daiichi or a TMC, which I can't even buy TMC 811Ss anymore from saltwaterflies.com. So I don't even know if you can like buy these hooks anymore. So we're probably just going to use like a Gamakatsu Big Game or maybe like a Mustad 34007. Thread, yeah, you can use whatever you want. We are using flat wax nylon though, shout out. See? I'm telling you, dude, I've been using this thread for a long time. What's my other channel called? I'll pull it up for you here. Hold on, give me a sec. I'll do this in the background while I continue doing this. Dumbbell eyes. The tail is Schloppen hackle. And 4 mixed silly legs. Okay, interesting. The body is olive or black olive. God, I don't even know how to pronounce that. How do you even pronounce that word? Variegated or something? Chenille, which I'm assuming just means like a grizzly style chenille. And olive schlappen. So what I don't know here is we're going to be palmering the hackle. But there's also a staz or chenille palmered. So what I'm trying to figure out is, like, do you wrap them at the same time, or do you wrap the chenille in between? Because you don't want the hackle on top of the chenille, because it's just going to break, right? So I'm trying to figure out how we tie this, essentially. All right, let me pull up. Hold on, Mike Rolls Dice. I'll show you guys a new video. I'll put it in the chat. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, I put this video out 2 days ago. It's already got 1,200 views. And they're like hour-long videos, you know what I mean? Oh, there's an ad in the background, my bad. Shut up! Damn you, YouTube. Alright, there we go. I still don't have YouTube Premium, by the way. But this is where we're going to be tying tonight. So, yeah. We need to figure it out. Sight fishing is becoming very popular over here too, especially with the creature baitfish style of flies. What do you mean by creature baitfish? I'm not familiar with that. You recently done a bunch of floating crabs from Mexico. You post them in the Discord. Oh yeah, we'll definitely take a look at the Discord here. If anyone wants to post some stuff in the Discord. All right, let's try and tie one of these. I think a shorter shank hook will work. Let's try it out. We might want to go with a Mustad, but we could try a couple different hooks out because we can always adjust it need be. I should be using like a darker color thread, like a brown or an olive. Just imagine it is. All right. I'm just going to stick with the white for now. Little shrimp worm crabs style of fly. Ah, okay, interesting. And what are they sight fishing for? Where are they sight fishing? In saltwater, you mean, right? On like beaches or something? Or you got flats over there? You have some sort of shallow water? I just picture Ireland to be like all rocky. And like the traditional style beaches that you see, you know? That look like they're hard to sight fish. But obviously there's got to be shoals. There's got to be bars. Places you can do it. Sea bass? Nice. Okay. We're going to put some eyes on here. If you tied any of them, post some photos in the Discord. I'll definitely look at the crab flies for sure. Hey, what's up, Pace? How you doing? I'm going to go ahead and wrap the eyes on here right now. Something like this. Turn up the music slightly. Ever so slightly. Okay, there we go. Yo, Biggie Gaming, what's going on? How you doing? Let's see, I also got to think about, we're doing some vertical streaming as well, so let me make sure this is all lined up. Probably just want to move this slightly like this. Oh no, it's pretty good. Miss your Regal Vice? Ah, dude, I love my Regal. Shout out to Don and the crew from Regal. Tying some flies yourself. Very nice, very nice. So we do have some chenille. Now this is ultra chenille, but I plan on using it. Now we're going to stick to the traditional fly though, so it's pretty simple. We have rubber legs and we have schlappen. So that's all we really need. And schlappen is a thick hackle. So let's take a look and see. I have a ton of different feathers. Just to show you real quick, this is what I'm rummaging through in the background right now. A big tote of feathers that we got in here. So I'm going to look for the schlappen. I'll see if I have... I don't know if I have anything that's appropriate color. Or we can always use some thick Chinese saddle hackle. But I know I have like blue and stuff like that. I just don't know if I have any like olive schlappen. I'm just going to take a look real quick though. Because I have some old hackle. I haven't bought schlappen hackle in years. Ah, I do, yeah, here we go. I thought I had something. If you're asking what schlappen hackle is, it's just really thick, webby hackle from a certain type of chicken. Or a certain breed of probably rooster or hen or something. I don't think I have any other colors that are appropriate. The other thing I think you could use is just marabou, right? I think you'd be okay there. No, why are you saying sorry or apologizing? Hey, what's going on, Frankenstein Ape? Hello from Minnesota. Well, welcome. Hopefully you're not too cold over there. It was like -5, 7 degrees here with the wind chill for like a week. It was so brutal. It's not like too bad now. I'd say it's like, it felt like it was like 20 today or 30. But man, it was like brutal out here on Long Island. So this is the schlappen hackle. It's just a wide and webby hackle. Back bays and estuaries, gotcha. Tied a couple floating ones. And doing to use it around the local estuary. Plenty of green crab too. Yeah. Yo Zeke, what's going on, dude? How's it going, man? All right, so the tail is just schlappen hackle. Again, we're going to take a look here. So that means we're probably just going to palmer some hackle at the rear. First, it looks like we're going to tie some rubber legs off the back. Yeah, the snow's not melting. I actually had to cut a path from where the cars are to like the side of the house because we're getting oil delivery, and I couldn't like just shovel the snow. It was like straight up ice, so I had to like chop the snow and then like shovel it out. But it was a pain. I was doing that earlier today. It was not fun. All right. So we do need rubber legs, which rubber legs were here. Let's go ahead and use these. These look good. We also could use like this pink and white if we were doing like a white color. Which we might do a white color next, because I think I did have white slopping. How is it going, Zeke? What have you been up to? So I think we want 4 pieces off the back, and then we're going to be tying 4 legs off the front. So I think realistically what we could do is probably like cut this in half, but in half I mean like 60-40, and the smaller ones will go up front and this will go in the back, because we're actually just going to cut it like so. And now we can take this. Let me just follow this recipe again. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Tail. Yep. Yo, Craig, what's up? How's it going? Let's go down and listen to this stuff. Okay. So we'll go like this and tie this off on either side. Man, these little Gamakatsu, even the little ones are sharp as heck. Look at that. One thing I learned is when you're tying rubber legs off the back for bonefish style flies, crab flies, striped bass, whatever, leave them long. You can always trim them, but it's better to leave them long. Oh, you got the UV light, trying the resin? Very nice. You can build up layers. You know, if you're going to do a coat, just make sure you like coat it fully, but it's better to do less than more. So what you'll find is if you put too much resin on there, Zeke, and you hit it with the light, it's going to run away, or it's going to like, it's not going to cure properly. So it's better to start off with less and then build it up. You can do 1 or 2 coats, 2 or 3 coats. Definitely like check out, I did a video on UV resin, so you can actually check that out. And I went in depth kind of talking about it. I don't think that one like got any views. Probably could have been better. We could do another one in the future, but all right. So let's see. We got our rubber legs. Now we'll take our schlop in here. I just love saying schlop and hackle, by the way. We're gonna go ahead and palmer this like so. And palmering just means we're going to take it by the tip, or at least further up the feather where it's webby enough, and then we're going to wrap it forward. And you want this sort of like fluffy stuff in the back here. This is good. This will give us some nice action in the water. Probably don't want all of it, so we can like pinch it off here, separate it. In fact, we could probably do like that much. You don't want too much. That's looking good. We do have dumbbell eyes on there, right, to flip the hook upside down and give it some weight, but see, we got some nice fluffy hackle on there now. Do you tie just for enjoyment, or do you tie these for a shop? I do tie for shops, Ape, and then what do you call it? More and more so we've been making YouTube videos, and so right now, like, I pretty much only earn money from tying flies and YouTube videos and streaming, so we've been doing a lot more YouTube nowadays. I used to do some clamming and commercial fishing and stuff like that, but we ended up stop doing that. But yeah, for instance, like we're probably going to start tying a giant order of roosterfish flies for this fly fishing company, Rise, that goes down to Baja every year and brings a bunch of people down there. So I'll tie for guides, I tie for businesses, and soon we're going to start selling flies on this website, Anglers Marketplace, in case you folks want to buy some flies and support the channel. Because right now, the really only way that you can buy flies from me is like through Instagram or through email or something, or if you have my number. We're trying to make it easier for you folks if you want to buy some flies. So we're going to tie in some chenille here. I don't know how we do this, so we're going to have to figure it out. Meaning like... So here's the deal. Either we wrap the chenille first, and then you wrap the hackle like we did just before on top. Then you're more likely for the hackle to break. If a fish bites it, it gets roughed up, and then it's just going to unravel. Traditionally, with wrapping hackle and stuff, they would take a wire and then counter wrap it the other way. So, like, are we trying to counter wrap this through the hackle? I think what we may do is take the schlappen and maybe we could just palmer it together. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm thinking. Do I tie for freshwater? No, I mostly tie for salt, but a lot of the flies that I tie for salt can be used in fresh. Like this could easily be a musky fly. If you take this and just scale it down a little and tie it in bluegill colors, it's a largemouth bass fly, right? So the type of fly tying I do is more like saltwater slash like predator freshwater stream tying. But there are a bunch of people that tie specifically musky flies. I live in New York on Long Island, and I mostly tie stuff for striped bass and like exotic fish like roosterfish or giant trevally. But I have tied a ton of freshwater stuff in the past. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you see on my channel can easily be used in freshwater. This, you tie this, and instead of, even with the rubber legs, it could be a little crawdad fly, but you could take little claws and put claws off the back. You know, all this stuff that we tie here can easily be used for smallmouth, largemouth, all sorts of different bass, you know, pickerel, pike, perch, all that stuff. Just like how you can use a crankbait or a rapala for both striped bass and largemouth. You know, it's just a lure. So now we're going to take some schlappen here. And let's try this. I don't know. I think we're going to try and either wrap it together. You really enjoyed the latest video on synthetics, and I've been trying to incorporate more alongside my bucktail dominant flies for pike and bass. Yeah, and that's the thing. You can totally mix it together, like those jungle slammer flies that I was talking about. I should do a video on those, but I don't have the right hooks for them right now. But that's like, you could totally take a fly like that and just, it's a mix of synthetics and naturals, and it works really good. So, again, I don't know how we should do this. Because if we, look, if we wrap the chenille first and then we go with the hackle, let's just, I'll show you here. If we go like this, and then go with the chenille, then go with the hackle, I don't think it's going to work because I think it's just going to rip. I mean, it actually kind of does sit in the grooves, now that I think of it. You can actually sit it in the grooves of the chenille. Okay, maybe that is how you're supposed to do it then. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. What's the other option? I don't think you can actually wrap it and then palmer the chenille on top. I don't think that's going to work properly. It's not like a thin wire. Palmer the hackle around the chenille and then wrap it. Oh, you're talking about like, that's interesting. Are you talking about like this? But you want the hackle to be, you talking about doing something like this? Let's try it out. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before. The thing is, the hackle may not, the hackle's not going to be laid down nice and sweet. I don't think this is how he's doing it, but this is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Because the hackle needs to kind of sit wrapped a certain way. But interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before, by the way. Have you seen anyone ever do this before, chat? You might have just came up with a new technique, Craig, the Palmer and wrap. I don't think that's how it's done, though. I mean, maybe it is. Doesn't look that bad. I'll show you how I think he did it. Good for peacock curl split onto the thread. Ah, interesting. You can do it on the thread. It's not new. Okay. I've never seen anyone do that before. You wrap on top of a... I guess you could easily do that with thread, right? But that's cool. Interesting. Oh, we didn't do the legs as well, by the way. So let's go back. I don't think this is how he does it, but we're gonna tie this one like this, and I'm gonna try it one day. Throw it in the box. I just realized we did not do our legs, so real quick, hold on. Okay, we can just unwrap this now. Yeah. So real quick, what we'll do is we could tie this off. It's a little annoying because I have this wrap, but it'll stay. That's fine. Why don't you stay over here? I don't think this is how he actually ties it, but I do kind of like it. I also barely wrap those eyes on there, so let's wrap a little bit more. Okay. Maybe do one wrap in the front, I'm thinking. Very interesting. I've never done that before. I think we want to get any of the hackle that was palmered up near the front, right up on top here. Yeah, I guess we don't want to wrap too far up the front. Okay, cool. I don't think that's how he did it, but that's pretty neat. Probably more durable. In fact, definitely more durable than the other way. Somehow this leg got wrapped over there, but that's fine. We gotta be mindful of that when we're tying it. God, I'm really getting risky there, pulling on that like that. I'm gonna just break the leg off. Any tips for selecting fish aren't picky about it? No, but it's just whether or not I'm trying to like be true to the pattern that I'm making a video on. So I'm just trying to tie it like the exact way that the tyer tied it. but it doesn't mean you have to. But the one downside to this is that we're not able to get the nice palmer of hackle to where we get it nice wrapped. So let's try it the other way. This is probably more durable though, which has its own benefits, of course. Let's try another one. Oop, smacking the mic or something. Yeah, it's a little shrimp crab fly. I think it was developed for crabs specifically, but it could obviously be used for either. You know what I mean? Any tips for selecting a tidal creek bay to fish in the Great South Bay this spring? Oh, man. I would definitely look for creeks that are like... See, it's funny. The one that I live close to is like super far deep in the bay. Not the Great South Bay, but... And it used to be so good, but like the past year or two, the fishing's been terrible. So it seems like fishing closer to like inlets and stuff, but you definitely want places where the water quality... Look for like the best water quality, because there's going to be a lot of spots where the water quality is terrible and it's probably full of algae and stuff. Even my pond early in the year was starting to get algae, and it never used to do that. So, yo, what's going on, Jim? And it's from like freaking lawn, what do you call it? Freaking Scott's lawn care crap that they pour on the lawns and it just washes away, and then from like leaking sewage systems and stuff. So the creek just gets algae. But so looking for like clean water in places with moving water that flush and flood on the tides, and also places with structure. But you know, a lot of these places will have bait early in the season, but obviously the thing you want to look for is a place with quite a lot of bait. So, and not just killies and stuff. Look for like, you know, good spearing, and you probably even bunker or herring we get on Long Island. So look on maps. Look for places that have structure. Like Google Maps is the best. And also you might want to fish on the outside of these creeks. You know, like walk out into the bay, and you might need to walk out like if you can, if the depths aren't deep, you know, because a lot of times like in the bay that I'm from in particular, it shallows out for quite a ways before it just drops off. It's usually a channel, you know, like that they dredge for boats or something. Not in the creek, but outside of it. Usually in the creek you can fish like the certain areas, and then it'll flow into like a salt pond, for instance. So usually it's hard to say. I would say you want to go during like I usually do best with my creek at the peak tides, or the middle of the... It's weird, from like the middle of the incoming, like middle of incoming to high, and then from high to middle of outgoing. And I usually seem to do the best when the water is moving the fastest, but that's just because my creek doesn't have a lot of water movement. It's like super... we don't really get much current like other creeks do, where you'll actually be able to swing flies. So, but you're gonna have to explore, and you're gonna have to go at different times of the day and different tides and fish, because it may be a thing where it only happens at a certain time and a certain you know, certain tide. So it's definitely like, you know, finding a good fishing creek can be tough, but usually once you find them, it's pretty consistent. But, you know, it's been tough, dude. The fishing's been so bad, so I don't know. It's going to be tricky. Hopefully it's good this year, but, I mean, unless striped bass have, like, magic spawns or something, it's going to be tricky. That's what makes it tough, trying to find new spots as well. You know what I mean? 10 years from now, striped bass boom back, like... Some of these spots you went to, they might be really good, but if there's not a lot of fish around, you might be like, man, this place sucks. The spot right by my house here has been so good over the years so much, but if you went last year, you would be like, that place sucks, because I didn't catch a single fish. Over the years, though, I've caught like the most fish in that spot. So it's a tiny little creek with a tiny salt pond way back in the bay. But usually when you find a good one, man, it's good. Yeah, the bridge is interesting. I hooked a guy with a fly at the bridge. Some kid. He would not move away. Yo, Brew, first off, thank you so much, my friend. 73 months. Tier 1 out of your mind on Twitch. Thank you, my friend. Very kind to you. Some dude was standing right behind me, and I was like, yo, you shouldn't stand right behind me, dude. And I was there, like, way before anyone got there. So it's like, you know, this in saltwater fishing, you have to be a little, like, you can be nice to people, but you can't, like, let people walk all over you because they'll just take you at your fishing spot. They'll be like, move, I'm fishing here. So I was like, all right, buddy. And he's like, no, you're good. You're good. You keep fishing. You keep doing you. And I like hooked him or hooked his jacket. I was like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm not going to put a hook in your ear just so I can try and catch a bluefish. But there were so many people at the bridge over there. So annoying. Guide Association. Well, I think it was Master on the Flies, didn't they? Didn't Master, isn't there, oh no, it's Master on the Fly is going to have the Saltwater Guide Association on. That's what it is, right? So what this was on what? The Saltwater Guide Association's channel or something? Has the Master of the Fly one come out yet? Alright, this is how I think Alan tied it. But we'll see. Find the right one. Oh yeah, great. This one has like bird crap on it. Perfect. Let me get some sort of bird disease. It's not even wide enough. I guess this one was. It's a little too wide though. You got to find the right feather. I don't want something that's like too webby. But I guess it's going to have to do. Well, this one could work too, I guess. Let's do this one. It's on. Oh, they did it? Master of the Fly? Okay. I usually wait till I think they put it on YouTube if I'm not wrong. I'll check and see. I think they do, like, isn't it like you sign up and it's like a Zoom thing or something? If I'm not wrong, or something. It's like a live stream, but it's like you have to sign up for it or something. I saw actually Henry Cowan promoting it, and I didn't know he was working with them. Which I actually need to reach out to him because we want to try and do something. Some sort of video or something. But what do you call it? I know it's David Blinken, who's a captain or guide. And I forgot the other guy's name, but I know Mark Sadati's buddies with him. I haven't met the other guy. But I've met Dave Blinken a couple times, and I've seen him fishing out there many years. Well, and yeah, I think they had 2 people from the Saltwater Guide Association, yeah. I was hoping it was going to be David Jenkins. Or Peter Jenkins. David Jenkins. Who the hell is that guy? So I think this is how he did it, dude. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like it sits pretty nice in the chenille. And then you can wrap it in the chenille here, you see? It's sitting in the groove of the chenille. It's just like naturally finding it. And now you can actually... Oh, I forgot to do the rubber legs again. Damn it! But you see what I'm talking about? It just sits in the chenille beautifully, and you can just weave it in there. So it's actually, it seems like it's pretty... I'll see if I can zoom in here. See how it's kind of like just sitting in the groove of the chenille? So that might just be how he's doing it. But I got to do the rubber legs. I forgot. I missed the chenille. Is it regular chenille or is it ultra? It's ultra chenille. Yeah. We got this specifically to make like crab claws and legs. Oh, this song's a banger. I like this one. So I guess before I do any of that, I should tie the legs, right? Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. And then I don't have to deal with any of this. Let's just unwrap it and we'll do it over. God, as a commercial fly tyer, I can't tell you how many times I've been tying flies and there's something like this where I have a batch of flies and I'm like, oh my God, did I just forget to like do the legs on 3? I keep doing it over and over again, forgetting to do like these sections. Like, I keep doing it. I can't stop. I always forget this one thing. All right. Can I get this feather sitting in the vise? Yes, I can. Okay, there's definitely one reason not to tie the legs until you get there. So I guess I could always just wrap it, secure it with the thread. I was just thinking like, well, then you'll see where you tied it down. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, you're going to be wrapping the hackle, so who cares? So, touche. But this is why we're doing this now instead of while I'm trying to film a tutorial on the fly. Because I'm going to be honest with you, tying flies commercially for so long, like, it's not that hard to, like, okay, this is how you tie this fly, you know? It's one thing, like, making maybe a video on chocolate's jerk changer, like, that may take a little bit more consideration in terms of, like, how the fly's designed and all that. Something like this, or like, you know, if somebody's like, hey, can you tie this, make a video on this bonefish fly? Not the hardest thing in the world to figure out. But it may just take a couple times with trying it. You got hooked on the Naiad? You tried it out? I tell you what, I like it, man. Look at this. You telling me just a little bit of Naiad and bucktail hollows and then some squimpish on top? Like, I feel like this is an easy $15, you know, $16, $17 fly right there on Anglers Marketplace, probably. Beautiful fly. It's a great material. What's going on, Brew? How you doing, man? By the way, sorry. Thank you again, by the way. Round of applause again for Brew. Shout out for the resub, my friend. Very kind of you. How you doing? Hope all's been good. Hope everyone's been doing good. Yeah, so now we should just be able to take the hackle and get it into the groove of the chenille, and then you just follow it the whole way. This is how I think he did it. Definitely gives you a cleaner look. Not as durable as the way Craig figured out in the first one, but I go like this, I guess. Yeah, this is good. More than enough. So you can see this schlop and hackle was a little fluffy, but that's okay. So I was looking for a different one. What we could always do is kind of thin this out just a little bit as well. You want a little bit of fluff right there. Okay, so I think some of the thinner slopping will work just fine. That's what I mean by picking the right hackle, right? You can see this is just a little too fluffy. I mean, this fly is honestly tied like this is probably the way you want to tie it, because this is going to have some sick action. If we look as well at the... Like, you can see these are for bonefish, so they're quite sparse, right? So this is the thinner, but you can see how it's wrapped. I think it is wrapped the way we did it, where it's like sitting in the grooves. You see that? But if you look, this is the one for striped bass. See how fluffy it is? So for like stripers, I think there's nothing wrong with, you know, having that fluffy schlappen hackle. I guess maybe for bonefish, you might want to sparse it out a little bit. But striped bass, in reality, I guess it depends on what the bait is, right? And the sparse, they love sparse too, but they don't shy away from stuff like this. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can make it a mole crab. And this is the thing. He was fishing a lot in Massachusetts and stuff, and places like that. I think maybe Connecticut, but I think it was like mostly Mass. And you really got to check out Sight Fishing for Striped Bass. It's a great book. But he did a lot of sight fishing in like Cape Cod in the surf, not in the flats. The surf is much flatter there in certain areas than like Long Island, right? Probably even New Jersey, you could do this. Do you still tie the old GT Slammer pattern from a few years back? Or was that kind of just a trend fly? No, that fly is fantastic. I don't really tie it for saltwaterflies.com as much anymore because he maybe got someone else to tie it for him or something. Because for like a couple years there, I kind of stopped commercial tying and was clamming and kind of like, I'm still on this screen. It was kind of like clamming and fishing, so I kind of like stopped tying as much. So he may have had someone else do it because I'm still doing some other flies for them. But, I mean, that fly works absolutely well for GTs. I know a lot of people are like using like the Semper flies nowadays, like Max from Predator Prey flies, been tying a bunch of those. But that GT Slammer fly is fantastic. In the synthetic video, we talk about it. I sent a few flies today. I made it on Rumble. Oh, you streaming on Rumble? Oh, very cool. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with it. So you could tie it two ways, right? You could tie it sparser, right? Or you could tie it, you know, with more fluff to it. You know, and a fly like this, like when it sits, it's just going to be moving like crazy, you know. But maybe you want to go for like a ghost shrimp or something, you know, like a thinner, softer pattern, like, or less intense, then you can sparse it out. Now, I will say this is going to be nice and durable, but you can see how we can't control the way that the hackle lays when we wrap it around the estaz. That is really sick. I could see that working, like, again, Doc was saying very well with peacock curl, for instance. But with the actual schlappen hackle, we want it to sit a particular way. So this is like how we would normally palmer hackle. You can kind of manipulate it as you're palmering it so that it kind of flows backwards. You know what I mean? So, but I think still there's a nice in between. You find the right schlappen hackle that's a little fluffy and a little, you know, not too thick, and you can use that or something. But it doesn't really matter. It's personal preference. It's just a feathery, fluffy crab shrimp looking thing that really what's important is where you're casting and if you can actually cast good, you know, when it comes to this sort of fishing. And if you can find the fish, like whether it's going to be this fly, that fly, it's going to be this fly, like this can imitate the same exact thing right here. This could literally be the same thing to a striped bass. Right here. So I could be fishing this. You could be fishing this. We could equally catch the same amount of fish. Maybe you could catch more. Maybe I'll catch more. But it's generally more going to be about whether you can cast the fly properly in front of the fish. Like I'm talking about maybe 20 feet, 30, 40 feet in front of the fish and anticipate where it's swimming. It's not like a redfish where a lot of times you can throw it on like their head and they'll eat it. Sight fishing for striped bass is more like sight fishing for like freaking giant trevally or like, you know, some sort of fish that you could easily spook and you want to like cast it ahead of them and stuff like that. Because they'll see it, they'll find it. But it's very tricky too. I've had so many times where like I have been sight fishing and I've stripped the fly and had a bass follow it. And it's like you kind of really it's tough. It's like whether you continue stripping it with very soft strips or whether you pause it. I don't know. It's very tricky. But most of the times I've caught fish on crab flies, it was blind casting on the edge of flats where it drops off into a deep end. And the crabs get swept off into the current, and the striped bass will eat them. So, can you make a 6 or 7 inch weakfish fly this fall run by Fire Island? They were foraging on baby weakfish one day or something. Yeah, we could do a weakfish fly. I don't know if we'll do that tonight, but maybe. That seems like a cool video, is doing a juvenile weakfish imitation. Maybe using like squimpish hair or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe we do that tonight. We could mess around. But anyways, I'll do a video on this. I'll tie a couple more off stream and get it to where I like it. But it's very simple. It's nothing too crazy. I think that is how he does it, though. I think he does palmer the hackle in between the chenille wraps, if I'm not wrong. What's going on, Jay? Somebody was asking if you got an Instagram, Jay, on YouTube. I'll let you reply. I wasn't gonna be like, yeah, here's his Instagram. Go send him photos. Yeah, pretty simple. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But you don't really need crazy for striped bass a lot of times. I see you come out with me on my boat out of Fire Island. We can go out the windmills. Last year there was a ton of mahi. It'd be sick to get them on the fly. Yeah, sounds good. I got a bunch of people offering to go on boats. What do you call it? It's coming up here. I got like 6 different people are like, "Yo, come on out." But hell yeah, sounds good. How far are the windmills? All right. So, yeah, we can try some sort of weakfish imitation. That does sound fun. If there's any other stuff you guys want to see tied, but I think we got this thing pretty much figured out, and we might do like a white or a tan version or something, and I'll try and do a video on this and get a nice clean looking one as well. What fly would you use for mahis? It depends what they're eating out there, but you could just use little baitfish flies, I'm sure. They're not really big, right? I mean, if they're big, then you can use larger, even just something like this, right? Like, it just needs to be an attractor fly. It doesn't need to be like a mahi fly, for instance. It's probably some sort of flashy fly or something. I've never caught mahi personally, other than like I've seen some couple baby ones, but 20. Oh, okay. How big are they then? Well, you could do any sort of baitfish flies. I'm planning to get a cottage near the Maine coast, so I'm planning to start saltwater fly fishing. So mainly striped bass and mackerel. What weight rod would you suggest? Yes. So for Maine, you may have like rocky areas, right? And like ocean fronts and stuff. I highly recommend probably like a 9, maybe even a 10 weight, but I'd say a 9 weight's good. 9 weight with an intermediate or like a sinking line probably. Again, I don't know where in Maine, but if you look at a lot of stuff I've seen from Maine is like those rocky coastlines, right? And you even have rivers, right? It was the Kennebec River, I think, is one, if I'm not wrong. Is there another? There might be another famous river up there with striper fishing, but so you'll get these fast moving waters, you'll get these outflows, you'll get these rocky bays, you'll get this rocky coastline with deep drop offs. So you're going to want to fish like intermediates or sinking lines with a 9 or a 10 weight, so you can actually like handle the fish that you're catching, because there's some pretty decent sized fish up there. So, and you could be throwing a fly, for instance, like, you know, well, much larger than this, a mackerel imitation, and catch like a 20-30 pound striper on like a freaking jagged cliff line, you know what I mean, with like waves crashing. It's killer fishing up there. And then there's also like river fishing and like outflows, like I said, so you can swing flies as well. So you may want a floating line for that, and like a sink tip But just starting off, either a 9 or a 10 weight with an intermediate is what I recommend. And the reason why I say 10 weight is because there is a chance that there could be big fish up there, and you might want to throw big flies like pollock flies, mackerel flies, stuff like that. Like we're going to tie a juvenile weakfish fly, stuff like that. What hook is what? This one or this one? Well, actually, both of these, they're Gamakatsu SL12Ss, which Gamakatsu's, like, in my opinion, the best saltwater fly tying hooks, but there's many types of brands. But this particular model is a fantastic saltwater hook that you want to check out. Mustad used to have a similar model that was very cheap. Then they changed it to a dark finish and like a much thinner hook. So this is the one that I prefer to use now, even though it's more expensive. But this is a very, very good hook. But just to give you an idea, there's like a $80, $90 box of hooks in the 100 pack. But for a lot of you folks, you can just buy them in like a 7 pack or something. All right. So let's take a quick little break. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick. And when I get back, we'll probably either break out some squimpish or something like that. And we'll try and do some sort of weak fish looking fly. Maybe we'll use the Naiat and go for some sort of Naiat hollow again, because that was a lot of fun. But we'll mix it up. We'll go from small to large here in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. We're going to play our Albie highlight. And I'm just going to go use the restroom, grab a drink real quick. So I'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, eat it. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Let's go!
Come here, hold it next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Albie slap.
Good job, dude.
Yee.
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little tuny, bro. On the alligator too. my God, dude. What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my God. Yep. Oh my God! I gotta turn the boat so I can cast. All right, we're back. So, real quick. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Baby weakfish. Challenge accepted. Alright, juvenile weakfish. Now, one thing you'll notice, they don't really have as much purple. This one has more purple. You will see a lot of yellow. See the yellow in the fins? So that's a very popular, or it's a very distinctive feature that you see with juvenile weakfish. So they're mostly silverish with some like greenish, bluish color and maybe some light purple, black on the back. So it's kind of the color that we're going for. I'd say it's kind of the color I think of when I think of them. So even though or something like this, you see how there's like that purple that reflects? So that's kind of what we're gonna go for. Also, I wanted to say shout out, we got some new members, by the way, recently while we were, I don't know from the video or off stream, but so shout out to the new members on the YouTube. So I will admit this, I can't throw a fly rod. I have a 9 weight, it's not easy. I do, however, really enjoy making flies. Well, you're gonna have to work on it. What sort of line do you got on there? You work on your casting, you'll have it in no time. Problem is you can't keep picking up a spinning rod every time that it's windy. That's the issue. Otherwise, I'll have to start giving you dirty looks. All right. Let's break out our magical bag of squimpish hair. The magical world of squimpish. Oh, we got the sick black too. Shee, for the top. Very light amount. Here's my yellow. So we really only need like one or like just a couple colors at most. But I'm gonna be using some of the blue, the bluish color here.
Striper.
Whoa, Archer coming in. Yo, Archer, what's up? Long time no see, brother. Striper. Were you in Cali? You were in Cali, right? Or am I tripping? You still slamming stripers over there in Cali or what? Round of applause. 24 months with the Twitch Prime. Speaking of which, maybe some of you folks watching over on YouTube, you got Amazon Prime. You can make a Twitch account and link your Amazon, because Amazon owns Twitch. And then you can deny Jeff Bezos from whatever the hell he's spending his money on, like the world's tallest hedges. And you can Twitch Prime to the channel. And I'll get a couple bucks out of Bezos' back pocket. You know what I'm talking about? That's right. Thank you again, Archer. Appreciate it, my friend. I bought the reel used. What line should I get fishing off the boat? Probably a sinking line for fishing off the boat. Zeke, I think, recently has been using, what, Scientific Anglers, right? Chat, what sinking lines do you like? Rio also makes a striper line that I've been using for years, which is pretty good, but the problem is they crack over time. I think Zeke's been using the Scientific Angler line. So here's the deal. If you don't have, like, a decent fly line, it could very well be a decent fly line. What's the real brand? But if you don't have a line with a proper head to load the rod, maybe the reel has an 8-weight line, you have a 9-weight rod, and the line is not even the right line for striper fishing, so it doesn't have a heavy enough head, you're not going to be able to load that rod properly, and you're going to struggle to cast. It could very well, and your casting could just suck and you need to work on it like we all did. But it could be that the line isn't loading the rod properly. That being said, you can have the best line and reel and rod in the world. You also need to still know how to cast and, you know, load the rod properly. All right. We've been using a lot of 4-odds. Let's see what else we got. I gotta buy some hooks here. I'm starting to run low on materials. I mean, we can always use the 4-odd, but I'll see what else I have. I don't think we're going to use this giant blue water 6-odd because I don't even know if it fits in my vise at the moment. Oh, God, I'm spilling those. That's great. Okay, so the other option that I have circle hooks. Kind of really don't feel like using those. You very well could use the circle hooks. People are asking me about them. I have been meaning to use them more. So let's go ahead and do it. This is actually a really nice hook. This owner circle hook. We've been using it for bluefish, but this will actually work really well for a this sort of fly right here. Your ears perked up. May or may not be a black cherry white claw. I used to love drinking Guinness and all that, but used to catch the LBs, not the largemouth. Little Friday night fly time. Nothing wrong with cracking open one. 6-odd blue water fits. I mean, I was having an issue with this one. They also changed the grooves, by the way, somewhat. The older Regal vices could fit larger hooks. And also, I think mine just fit larger hooks because I used it for so long. But this one I don't think will fit. Yeah, look. Six-odd blue water will not fit. I have to use my old vise for it, which I have to have them change out the old jaws for a new head. I was talking to some of the dudes at Regal. They actually may have changed it with the newer big game jaws where they may not fit gigantic hooks. The circle hook will fit, though. I think we are going to do a lead keel on this as well. Are we? This hook is massive. We don't need a lead keel. This is the lead keel right here. Gigantic circle hook. Yeah, my old big game would fit freaking 10-odd Gamakatsu hooks and stuff like that. The new one doesn't, though. I don't think the jaws are cut the same. All right. I'm going to use some Naiad, dude. I've been loving this Naiad. I don't know if I'll use it for all of it, but I think we'll use some of it because it's pretty sick. And we should use some feathers. That was the blue water, right? Yep. This is SA 270 blue water Arex 6-odd. It's a massive hook compared to this 5-odd owner circle hook. And it will not fit. It used to fit in my old big game, the same exact jaws, but it won't fit in this one. And I think the new one, the new Regals don't do it, or maybe whatever. This one might not, but because he custom built this head for me or this jaw for me over the weekend, essentially. Because my other one had issues. Yeah, I like Arexes. And no shade against Arex, but I hate the dark finishes they put on hooks. Those hooks, compared to something like the Gamakatsu SL12S's, I feel like they're way more prone to rusting. Like if you cut the fly off and you throw it in your fly box and you leave that little monofilament on there, like it's going to rust around the hook eye. So that is definitely, at least what I found, because I don't rinse every fly off when I'm done using it, you know what I mean, after fishing in the surf all day and stuff. Sometimes I just throw them in a bag or something, or in a fly box. It seems like, this is why I used to love, that's why I still love this hook model. And, you know, back in the day, they weren't using these fancy, like, super slick finishes and stuff like that. You would see finishes like this, the dark nickel one, for, like, Gamakatsu bait hooks. But for fly hooks, they always use, like, the stainless steel or the tin-plated. But nowadays, a lot of hook manufacturers are switching over to the chemical finishes. And the problem is they rust so much easier in saltwater. At least what I've found. Fantastic hooks, but they do rust quicker than a tin-plated hook. Because with a tin-plated hook, it won't rust as much as it will slightly corrode. Which isn't as bad. You can just kind of, like, sharpen it. It's the same thing with rust, too, but, like, I don't know. I just find, like, older style fly hooks like this with the tin or stainless steel finish just to be so much better than the modern day, like, trend of, like, the darker finishes on hooks. Super sharp chemical finish for, you know, supreme hook setting capabilities and all. I'm like, just give me tin so it doesn't rust, all right? Tin or stainless steel, that's what I want. Like they've been doing for the past 100 years with hooks or whatever. Like, so no shade to Arex. I do like their hook models. I wish they offered a stainless steel model or a tin coated model. So that's me personally, but I don't baby my flies either. I abuse the ever-living crap out of my gear. So in general, yeah, like the old Eagle Claw 253s and 254s. I still have flies that I fished from 20 years ago that look like brand new. You just got to sharpen the hook a little bit. They're so good. I love those hooks. So good. Does anyone get that? Does anyone feel like that too? Like these newer hooks, they rust easier than the older style finishes, or am I that abusive? I mean, go fish the surf for 4 hours and get soaking wet. Like, and tell me those flies don't rust. It may not be substantial, but it's enough. Like, if I'm spending an hour tying a 6-odd beast fly, for instance, or maybe more, right? And probably $30 worth of bucktail. I don't want the hook to rust that easy. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of these guys, they use these Arexes, which I guess if you are buying a freaking $100 beast fly from a fly tire, you probably better wash that thing. You know what I mean? And again, I love Arex. You know, and I love their hooks. Max from Predator Prey ties for them. And he's like, you should reach out to them and get some hooks from them. I was like, I probably should. I use their hooks for like the freshwater peacock bass and the jungle slammer flies, and I do think they have their place in saltwater because there are certain hook models, like Gamakatsu doesn't make certain hooks like Arex does. You know what I mean? So you do need to use some of the Arexes. So I don't mind using them. I think they're good hooks. I just would prefer if they offered a tin or stainless steel finish as well. So no shade to them. I use their hooks. You saw the pack. I use them. I like them. I just wish we would get out of this like modern day chemical finish, super slick finish thing that they love doing. Oh, it's an amazing hook. Tough hook. Fantastic. It's just I've tied some sick flies and then I've had it like slightly rust and it's so annoying. I'm like, dude, no, that was such a cool looking fly. And because those hooks don't sharpen the same, right? As the stain as like the Gamakatsus. At least I found. It's harder for me to sharpen a hook like that with a sharpening stone, I feel like. And that just could come down to user error, right? But again, no shade to Arex. I love their hooks. Absolutely love them. I'm just an old school bum. Yeah. It seems like it's a little harder to sharpen them because they have that finish on there. All right. So, again, these fish are mostly white. So I'm thinking we're going to do some sparse hollow ties, probably with some naiad and squimpish. Let's try and mix the naiad and squimpish. That could be kind of cool. Kind of blend the two together. Because I've never done that before. So I'm kind of interested in how that would work. So this is going to be like one of our hollow ties here. Have that folded back, probably flipped around like this actually. And then we could take some of this naiad here and cut a little bit of it off. I'm trying not to use much of this stuff because it really adds up quick and I think the fly might not swim okay. So you want to use it very sparsely, I feel like. I'm going to take out the shorter hairs, even though you can use that to build some bulk. So, like, the day after we streamed with the naiad, I guess August on the Fly put out a video of him tying with the naiad hair. If you don't know, he's on the Squimpish Pro staff as well. So, but it was interesting. And Jay sent it to me. And I think it was probably because he started it off by smoking a badass J. But, the video that is, but he got like a pretty big bulky head by using all that fluff on the hollow tie and not trimming it, so he had all that tag end. So that is kind of because we were tying that hollow fly, that naiad kind of style hollow fly-ish thing. So I think you can definitely use this tag end here as like a like kind of like a bulky thing at the head if you wanted to. We are going to separate belly, top. Like so. Maybe a little bit more for that. There, we'll go for the belly here. And I don't think we want as much tag end here. I think you want to do that up near the front, but I guess we totally could. Like for instance, we could just do this. Now I'm not adding any flash here, so real quick before I do the hollow tie, maybe I do that real quick. Because I forgot. We're going for weak fish. Might as well add some silver, I suppose. A couple strands. like so. And why don't we go ahead and tie a little bit of bucktail on the inside with our Brad Buzzy bucktail. Shout out to Brad Buzzy. Saw him at the Edison show. We're going to just tie a little bit in on the inside. By the way, I saw people mentioning how they got squimpish hair, which is great. Shout out to Squimpish because they hooked me up with some stuff at the show. So one thing I want to do is I want to make a video on making a dubbing brush with the squimpish hair at some point. That's going to be fun. I guess I'll just set the dubbing brush table up here on this table, even though it sticks way out. We can still set it up on this table. It should be all right. I do a little bit of bucktail on the inside to give it some support. So we have 3 different materials in this hollow tie. That's why it's important to be sparse with the amount of material we're tying. Yo, 603, what's up? How you doing? So we can go ahead and take this. And I saw we had Aloha flies in here too. What's going on, dude? Sorry, I just realized I don't know if I said hello. What's good? What's good? And in this, it's funny, in the synthetics video, I filmed some of my YouTube videos, and I did it in a different way than just, you know, capturing it normally, so you could actually see my YouTube page. And I guess some of the videos that were in my recommended were Magic the Gathering related, so somebody commented, was like, oh dude, you watch this? Dude, you play Magic? It was funny. I was thinking while I was editing, I was like, oh, I'll leave it in there, maybe somebody, it'll be like a little teaser, you guys could see what sort of videos I watch. Trying to fend off some plague. A student coughed at me this week. Oh god. You don't think you're winning the battle? Oh boy. Drink some teas, some emergencies, some chicken soups. But take it easy, stay warm. So get better, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get better soon. And yeah, don't have students cough the plague on you. I heard a story of like one of the most recent cases of somebody dying from the bubonic plague, which I'm sure you do not actually have. You're just joking. You probably got like the flu or something. But there was like a park ranger, I think it was in like Colorado or somewhere in Utah, and they found a dead mountain lion. And what they do, they were like just inspecting the mountain lion to see, you know, was it poached or why did it die, right? You know, like a good probably park ranger, game warden would. And but unfortunately they like freaking opened the mouth or something. They were looking at its teeth or something, and like when they opened its mouth, I guess like the thing had died, the mountain lion had died from bubonic plague, which it probably had gotten from like a pest or some other animal that had eaten like a rat or something, or who knows, a flea had given it, because there is like bubonic plague randomly out in the wild in certain places in the world. So this was like, I forget what it was, like 15 years ago or something though. And this like park ranger, I think, ended up dying from it or something, or they ended up getting hospitalized, one or the other. But it was like one of the most recent cases of bubonic plague, and it was somewhere here in the US. So that's just absolutely crazy. That always makes me think, like, well, if you ever see a dead mountain lion, do not open its mouth. They made it seem like when they opened its mouth, it was like this, like these black germs flew out, like whoosh, making noises like it was like a horror movie. I'm sure it was completely, you know, you couldn't see anything because they're just germs or whatever, but plague germs. But isn't that crazy? The doctors are probably like, I wonder how long it took for them to figure out that it was actual bubonic plague, you know? It's pretty wild. But it's still out there. People still catch it. Frequently? I didn't know it was frequently, or at least here in the US. Maybe in other parts of the world. I just finished a book about diseases throughout history. Oh, interesting. I believe you. I believe you. Yeah, I know. There's still like leprosy. There's all sorts of stuff that's still going around today. Hopefully not a lot of it in like the Western world where you have like medical resources to help with things like that, you know, but a lot of it's in places of the world where they don't have that sort of stuff or resources for that. Or remote or something, probably. I just remember one of the last things with that, like, as I was, like, getting out of hunting, just because I'm so busy now, I just don't have time. But I was, like, reading about, on a traditional bow hunting forum about, like, how rabbit fur and squirrels, like squirrels and rabbits, in their fur, they could have this pneumonia-type disease or something. And I just remember they were mentioning you gotta be careful. We've talked about it in chat, and somebody always, you guys know the name because you're way smarter than me, of the disease. But I'll never forget that freaked me out because I used to try and shoot squirrels with my recurve bow because people eat them, and I was like, look, I deer hunt. I'm gonna eat a squirrel once. I'm gonna do it because it's a good thing to know. Like, you know, well, if the shit hits the fan, you know, are we gonna like the squirrel gumbo that we're gonna be eating for the next however many years? But I tell you what, squirrels, and I don't shoot a fast bow. I shoot a heavy bow, a recurve. So they were able to dodge out of the arrow's way before it even hit them. They were like doing backflips over my my heavy ass arrows. So after I was like, you know what? Respect. I'm never shooting at a squirrel again. I don't want to eat a squirrel because I don't want to catch some sort of pneumonia disease from their hair ending up in my lungs or something. Patient Zero, A History of the World's Worst Diseases or something like that. Oh, that sounds like an interesting book. Those are some of my favorite like horror movie type stuff where it's like a disease type thing, you know? Always freaks me the hell out. Dude, down in Yosemite there was some flavor of rodent in some camp. People got some weird funk. What? They got the weird funk? Oh no, dude. They're like hanging out, and all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, go boom, 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 boom. They're like, oh, they died of the weird funk. Skin it outside with a mask? Yeah. That's right. If I'm hunting, which I haven't hunted in years, but if I am, if the only thing I'm shooting is a deer with a longbow or a recurve, and then butchering it in my backyard. When I mean butchering it, I mean butchering it. I'll never forget, me and my dad knew nothing about hunting. He never hunted. I learned everything from just, you know, the year or two before I shot my first deer from other hunters and just reading about it online. So I shoot this buck and I bring it back, and I'm like, Tom, my landlord, I'm like, you gonna help me butcher it? He's like, hell no, I ain't gonna help you butcher it. Because he was making fun of me. He's like, you're not gonna ever get a deer with a recurve bow. You can't shoot one with that. But so then me and my dad are butchering this thing, and we had no idea what we were doing. I was like watching videos while doing it, like, how do I do this? And after a couple deer, because I shot a couple deer and then people gave me some deer, I figured out a little bit better how to do it. But I am still like, I'm still not good. But I refuse to like bring it to a butcher. Like, that's the sort of thing, if you're gonna take the time to like take an animal's life like that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take the time to butcher it, because it's like, you know, I'm putting this hard-earned work and effort into it, and like, I don't want to just drop it off somewhere and have someone do all that. I want to do it myself, you know what I mean? I'd be out there for like literally 4 hours, like cutting this deer up, like like not knowing what I'm doing, just like trying to get the best cuts I could and not completely destroy it. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a whole day's work, because then by the end of the day after butchering it, you have to vacuum seal everything and label it. So believe me, it's a lot of work, and they can do it professionally and nicely, in a nice job. But that being said, I don't know. I always like doing it myself. It's part of the reason why I was hunting, was like, to like pretty much do it all myself, not like, you know, I was really tired of eating like meat from stores and stuff like that at the time. Let's fold all this up. Yeah, I miss hunting. I enjoy it, but I'm just so busy nowadays. I can't go sit in the woods for fucking 6 hours. You know what I mean? Like I got to be making videos. I got to be editing videos. I got to paint miniatures for the next battle reports. I have to work on fly orders. I have so much stuff that I have to do nowadays because I have like 5 different jobs that I created for myself that barely make money. But I do miss hunting. It was a lot of fun, dude. I do miss it. But, I mean, it's like I said, I just don't have the time to go sit in the woods. If I could mule deer hunt, I'd probably still be hunting. Because I really hated sitting in a tree stand. It's like my least favorite thing in the world is sitting for 6 hours. Whenever it snowed, I would go on foot and try and get one from the ground. One day I almost got a deer from like 5 yards away in the snow. It was like a snowstorm. But the sun was in my face, so I didn't feel confident. And I don't take shots that I'm not confident in with a bow. But I do miss it. So maybe one day I'll probably get back into it at one point when I actually am a stable adult. Do I do minis? Yeah, we what do you call it? What the hell are you talking about, Crabfly? Crabfly, are you on that crab whiskey again? Huh? Do I need to call your freaking chief, police chief? Yeah, what do you call it? My second channel is Mike Rolls Dice. I think I still have it here, right? Yeah, I do. Check that out. That's our second YouTube channel. We do battle reports for Conflict 47 by Warlord Games. So, and the channel's doing pretty good, man. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for them to fly us out to England to film a battle report. Me and Rev. That or give me and Rev custom miniatures. Well, it's Friday. The Crabfly police, they just got paid, so they're probably the whole district is out, or the precinct, they're out partying on that crab tequila, or what is it, crab whiskey? I saw some dude up in like Maine. They make like crab whiskey or something using green crabs. Let's tie a little bit of this in here on the inside. This is that Naiat. And we can have it a little bit of that stubbiness left over on the inside. We'll just spread this around. Looking good, looking good. And we'll go with a little bit of bucktail on the inside. Now, we do need some yellow, actually, at some point. And we want the yellow shorter. We don't want it to go all the way. It's like fins. So here's a fun little thing we could do. We could probably take some yellow squimpish, for instance, and we could tie really short pieces of it right in this section here. And this can help kind of simulate the fins. And we can kind of just lightly taper it. And I guess we kind of need the fins. They would be on the sides, right? Yeah. So it'd be something like this. We'll do this. We'll kind of move back here like this. You know what? I guess we could cut it and tie it. I was going to V-tie it, but that actually might mess with the hollow tie. So we're just going to cut it right in the middle and tie this on here. So it's not going to impede. And I do want to kind of angle it downwards. So we're kind of simulating that fin. Kind of like so. There we go. Okay. Make sure I leave myself enough room here. Barely. But yeah, we got into like one-page rules in Warhammer originally because me and my buddy and all my friends, we were playing Magic Commander. You know, Magic the Gathering, but Commander. And then we got into like one-page rules in Warhammer. And I started a second YouTube channel, and I was like kind of just messing around. But then we found out this game Bolt Action, which was like World War II, and they were releasing the new version of their World War II weird game, which was like World War II. It's like instead of World War II ending, like all the Nazis were overthrown and this and that, but like a new power took over in Germany, and like nuclear testing opened up rifts, and now there's vampires and werewolves. It's like that sort of game. But it's very much a like Warhammer 40k. It's like a tabletop war game, a larger scale war game. But so now we make videos for that, and it's doing pretty good. It's actually doing better than the regular channel. Or better than this channel. So we just have fun playing, and we were like, we might as well make videos because they already make videos. And we're like coming up with this cool stuff in our head. So. Alright, I've lurked long enough. I've got to ask you, you go to Adepticon? No. I haven't been to Adepticon. I haven't been to, what is it, LVO? The Las Vegas Open. I think my buddy, no, he didn't go to Las Vegas Open. He went to Atlantic City. My buddy Rev, who I film battle reports with on my second channel. He goes he was going to tournaments with his guard, this and that. I haven't gone for any miniature events anywhere. I just play pretty much with friends. Maybe one day, excuse me. The problem is I'm kind of like an old man, even though I'm 35 years old. I have a really bad back because I have like scoliosis and the other thing or whatever, where it like curves the other way. It's not like super bad, but it's bad enough to where I've just had back issues for years. I don't know if there's some like discs or something or some whatever. I don't know. I had x-rays years ago. It's just bad. So I throw my back out. It's game over for like a month or two, whatever. But so like playing miniature games like Warhammer, like dude, 5 hours of Warhammer and I'm like, my back's ready to be like, I could throw my back out in a second. So I don't know how these dudes play Warhammer tournaments and they play for 9 hours straight, 3 hour games, 3 games. If you went to 8Con, I'd just meet up. I just have you on in the background. Don't chat much. Well, dude, appreciate it. Thanks for lurking most of the time, Rob. What do you call it? I'm based out of New York, so never know. Maybe one day we might go to some sort of event. If anything, we may go to some sort of event for Conflict in the future, just because like there's only a handful of people making videos about it. There's like some big content creators like Morty and Glory, who you probably know from 40K. He makes guard content. He also makes a ton of like Warlord game stuff. But and there's like Valrak Gaming. He just recently made a video about Conflict. What do you call it? So if there was something that we may go to some con or something in the future, if you never know, it may be related to something with Conflict, because we're kind of like, we've done like 13 battle reports now. I think we're like us, Badger Wargaming, I want to say their name is, or Barefoot Wargaming, I think is their name. There's Tabletop Command Post and Morty and Glory. And there's like 1 or 2 other channels that make Conflict videos, but like I'm pretty sure we've made like some of the most Conflict videos, so like I wouldn't be surprised if like, you know, somehow we're involved with something in the future if we keep at it. So all right, now we can add some colors. Again, all the colors at the end for a weakfish, of course. Oops, sorry. Hertz doing lawn sessions. I'm in PA. We do the lawn haul. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, we have one shop that's about 45 minutes away, and they've done small tournaments. And my buddy, you know, Rev, my buddy, was trying to get me to go, and I still just haven't. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. Like one game, and my back hurts so much. Like 3 hours of 4 hours is more than enough. So I can't like play like, you know. So I like playing against friends, and playing at home and stuff, and getting lit. You know what I mean? Cracking open a couple White Claws, you know. But in the future, I wouldn't mind going and playing some like conflict stuff, or maybe doing some casual thing. I do love Warhammer. I'm a Blood Angels player. I love Warhammer, but I've been like slowly enjoying that game less and less compared to other war games. But the miniatures and the lore and the world building is top notch with Warhammer. It's just that GW sucks. I just can't afford Warhammer anymore. They priced me out of it as a poor fly tire, so. I mean, 3D printer go burr, but. Also, I love for all the fly tying guys are like, what the hell are you talking about right now? 3D printer go burr. Honey, do you know what the hell Mike's talking about? I don't either. No. Dark Eldar play? Oh man, you guys get abused the most. You probably really hate GW playing freaking same detachment for like an entire. Did you guys even get a codex? I stopped paying attention to Warhammer because I make games for. I mean, I battle reports for other games. Did they finally give you guys a codex with Dark Eldar or no? Or is it gonna go to 11th edition? You guys never got a codex. They gave you one, right? I know. I mean, of course, Eldari got one, but yeah, for 10th. Have you gotten a legit codex for 10th yet? Oh yeah, that's the joke. Yeah, you still haven't, right? Yeah, that's the joke, right? They still. Can you imagine spending like so much money for freaking a game like they're like, yeah, you're good. You don't need a codex. That's what I hate about GW, dude. Like, release it all at once. Freaking buffoons. Alright. So, let's get some color going. We're going to start off, enough talking about GW. We'll do a little bit of black on top. Just a very, very tiny amount. And then we'll probably go with some very tiny amount of purple, then a very tiny amount, or then a more gradual amount of blue, and then maybe some yellow on top, is what I'm thinking for the hollow tie. And I do want this to go the entire length of the, or at least to about there, so. Sorry for all the fly tires where I got sucked into. I can't help it, you know what I mean? I do love me some wargaming. I love me some fly tying. I love me some Magic, the Gathering as well. Limited, particularly drafting. I can't help it. I wanted to get back into playing guitar here soon too, but I was like, dude, I have so much stuff I'm doing. Like, I want to, like, if I sit down and play guitar, I'm gonna play for like 3 hours or something, and then it's like, oh, dude, what did I do? It's tough. No, it's not your fault, Rob. I'm always down to. Plus, you know, if you folks don't like type in chat, then I'll just end up talking to myself for like 3 hours, and it makes it a lot harder to stream. So. Now, every time I mention 3 hours, and I don't usually end up streaming 3 hours, I usually end up streaming like 2 hours and 30 or 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think about Keith, who wrote a comment on YouTube and said, psh, yeah, right, 3 hours. And every time now I think in the back of my head, you know, he got in my head. You got in my head, Keith. I don't know who you are. I don't even know if you've ever watched the live stream, talked in the live stream chat. But that just still gets to me every time I think. I'm like, damn it, I didn't do 3 hours again. And I said, like, I usually said, like, oh, it's around 3 hours. He got in my head, chat. This Keith guy. He got me good. Now every time I talk about it, or think about the 3 hour mark, I'm like, this fucking guy. Damn, you playing Tarkov? Sheesh. It's too bad I quit that game. Otherwise, I'll play it with a fellow fly tire and Scrimpish Pro staff member. But, yeah. Actually, our mod, Frosty, had his account hacked. There was for a second, I thought maybe he might have been cheating, but I was like, no, there's no way. Not because, like, I mean, it's not like he ever cheated or it was good. He would just die all the time like us. But I was like, it's a thing, classic Tarkov thing, where everyone's like, my account got stolen. But his account genuinely got, we just stopped playing for a while. Somebody got into his email or something. And, essentially changed the email to his Tarkov account. And then he reached out to Tarkov. Because he wasn't cheating. There's no way he was cheating. But the Tarkov player in me was like, was he cheating? Because you can't trust anyone in Tarkov. Because everyone's cheating, apparently. And Battle State was like, screw you. So he had to buy, like, a brand new account. And he bought a freaking expensive account. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, bro? After they got rid of... I bought EOD edition, like, freaking in 2018. And then they, like, changed the wording on EOD that it doesn't come with a lot of the new stuff because you have to buy the other version. I was like, screw you, Nikita. I'm done. I still love Tarkov. Tarkov's great. The game is sick. But, like, I loved it, like, 4 years ago or 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And I played the hell out of it, and then I hated the game. And now I'm at the point to where I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, great game. The fishing, you should switch the intermission videos to one of your guitar videos. We only have the one guitar video, which is from the Halloween special. I would like to make some music for videos. And my dad plays guitar. I would like to play some more guitar with my dad. Just give us a reason to fucking spend the time to do it. At least it's like, okay, well, we spent freaking a week making this track. At least I can use it now for my fly tying videos or like a fishing video or something. You can always have Little Peacock make his return. No more Little Peacock, all right? We have too many viewers now and too many people who watch on YouTube that aren't delusional, like you Twitch streamers that want to see that, or Twitch viewers. What's going on, Craggerl? It was fine when we had, like, just 5 people watching, but now that we actually have, like, sometimes, like, 20, 30 people watching, and I'm trying to be, like, a successful fly tying content creator, you know what I mean? I can't be Little Peacocking all the time, okay? Because it sucks. It's not like I'm freaking Jadakiss. Or it's not like Little Peacock is Jadakiss, because obviously I'm not Little Peacock, but... You know what I'm talking about? Alright, well, I cut this a little short. I regret that. I'm going to use it anyway. Now anyone wondered, they're like, what the hell's Little Peacock? Dude, we got some... I should do a video on YouTube about the history of the lore of the history on my streaming, you know, of my streams. Just in case it's like a refresher course. So when somebody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, here you go. We'll post a link and people can go watch it. And then they can come back to the stream after they get their lore refresher or their lore information course. They'll find out who Jerry is. They'll find out who Mike Ross is. They'll find out about the empanadas, about the hookah lounge, about all of that. The thing is, I don't talk about most of this stuff nowadays, so I'm already forgetting some of this crap, which is probably for the best, but... Little Peacock, the being banned to the Shadow Realm, stuff like that. Oh, I wanted a little bit of yellow, that's right. Nah, we got rid of that parole thing, because freaking Wolfram would come in here and hit it every once in a while. That was because... At the time, by the way, I'm sure he was of legal age for Twitch. But my moderator, who I think was like a freaking teenager at the time, like 18, 19, some young kid, Microvert in Colorado, came up with that dumbass freaking thing about me cutting off ponytails and sniffing them or something like that. Yeah. We get like a raid from like a big stream and like somebody would type that in. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Get out of here. They're getting rid of that shit. This is the problem with Twitch streams. You can't give them too much power, dude. They'll try and ruin you. You gotta get out of here with that. I had to get rid of that. Tarzan or whatever. Nope. Some dumbass ones. The other thing is you gotta watch out. In 10 years from now, you might get canceled for some of this stuff. You know what I mean? I just mentioned clankers in my most recent battle report with because it was robots. One day AI will have rights and I'll get arrested for saying clankers in a video 40 years ago. Die, clankers, die! Better watch out. This be like robot police showing up at my house. You are under arrest. The lore of the cornfly. Yeah, what? How it took me like probably 3 years just to wrap some crap on a hook and send it to Arizona. What's going on, Slim Thunder? How you doing, dude? I saw you were getting bananaed up. Very nice. I don't know if I'm going to put bucktail on this one. Probably not. Because we already just kind of got a lot going on here, you know what I mean? Heat's kicking on. I'm gonna have to turn the heat down, man. My room gets so hot when I'm streaming. It's like 80 degrees in here right now. Big peacocking on the table still? What? There never was a big peacock. Only a little peacock around here. He was banished to the Shadow Realm. Good riddance. Some say the Federales got him, but we know that he was banished to the Shadow Realm Yu-Gi-Oh style. If you're not on multiple lists by now, then you're the problem. I'm definitely on multiple lists, but... My father's Turkish, and technically born and raised practicing Islam, so I'm definitely on a list. After 9/11. We got randomly checked every single time. Every single time at the airport. But I'm a good old red-blooded American Muslim, baby. I pretty much just like don't eat pork. That's about it. Try to be nice to people. Hopefully on not too many other lists. I haven't searched too many things on Google. But maybe... You never know. What sort of list could I be on? Definitely the Muslim one. I don't think any other ones. I got a 3D printer, but not that's the sort of one that can print guns, so I'm good there. And luckily, I got my webcam sitting away so that the particular FBI agent that watches me, he really can't see too much. So we're good there. Does anyone else take their webcam and like cover it up with tape, like my buddy does, or or like I have a Logitech webcam because I have a really nice camera, but I don't leave it plugged in and stuff. But like the nice Logitech C920 or whatever the hell. I say nice. I don't know why I'm saying nice. What camera kind of sucks. But I always have it face down. I'll Jason Bourne your ass and like pull it up. Beep boop 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 boop. My favorite is the South Park episode where the FBI guys are just watching everybody, like, or the people are watching them on the toilet or something. It is against the law to like leave the toilet seat up, I think it was, or something. Oh, I've been to Turkey many times. Turkey is amazing. Some of the coolest people, coolest food. They love Americans over there. It's a very westernized, what do you call it? Country for that part of the world. Now they are pretty much on like the edge of Europe and like Central Asia, essentially. Yeah, Turkey's very, 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 very cool. Great food, great people, good beer as well. FA's just a good kind of nice light beer I love drinking. They love their soccer, as well as pistachios and sunflower seeds. Yeah, the Anatolian Plateau has some of the most history in the world. Some of the most interesting history in the world. And that's what the Turkish landmass is. That's the Anatolian Plateau. That's where Troy, and Helen, it's where freaking Constantinople and, you know, the freaking Alexander the Great, right? And he wasn't that, where was the Library of Alexandria? I forgot. I don't know. There's all sorts of shit. That whole area of the world is sick, is what I'm saying. Not Alexander the Great, but the Byzantines, all sorts of cool shit over there. The Ottoman Empire. Very interesting part of the world. A lot of history. Göbekli Tepe, or Teki, or whatever the hell it's pronounced. There's like, essentially, we thought civilization was like, yeah, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. They kind of got their shit together. Now we're finding like stuff from like 10,000 years ago, 11,000, 12,000 years ago, where like if you were hunters and gatherers, it would be much harder to do things, build structures or something like this. So they're like, maybe civilization goes further back than we think. And a lot of this stuff is like in Turkey, or like the edge of Turkey, Iraq, places like that. Yeah, Noah's Ark is supposed to be on Mount Ararat, which is a mountain in Turkey, supposedly. At least that's what they say. It's all closed off. Nobody's allowed in there. But supposedly, Noah's Ark landed on Mount Ararat. That's the name of the mountain there. All right, let's throw some eyes on here. And let me put some of the squimpish hair away so we just don't make too much of a mess. We'll probably tie some more flies here because the night is still young and we've only been streaming for 2 hours. Not anywhere near close to 3. You know Keith would be talking shit if I even mentioned 3 right now. He'd be like, psh, 3. Get out of here. So we got to stream some more. What we are going to tie, I don't know. We do got to glue the eyes on here. We're going to do that here in a sec. I'm just putting some of this stuff away because if not, it makes a mess. You saw my synthetic video. You know that synthetic hairs do make quite a mess when using them. That is true for squimpish hair. Really, any synthetics. But that's okay. It works so well in other regards that I don't mind it. I got more 3D eyes, right? Let's see. I'll put these suckers on here. These are like my go-to. I was using those for the kinky mothers. I have so many of them, so let's brush this out some more. Normally I'd be like, man, you want to make sure like you don't have too much material on the belly here so it like swims properly, right? With the squimpish and the naiad. This is such a heavy hook. Like this hook is so serious. Like look at the gap in here. There's still like that much of a gap in between the circle hook there. Like very, very serious. This is a circle hook designed for like bunker chunks, essentially. So I think we're okay here. I'll get some E6000 here and we'll put some eyes on. Stick the ice right there. Boop. Took an expedition down there and dug through the snow mud. Animal hair from numerous species, bugs, birds. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I know that whole area is like literally closed off because of the Turkish government, but I don't know whether there's actually Noah's Ark up there or not, but it's cool to think about. For sure. If we had my dad up here right now, he'd be going off for like an hour about all this. He could be talking so much about this stuff. He loves. You start him up on Turkish stuff and he won't stop. Good old proud Turkish man. Let's clean this off. How do you figure eye size? I couldn't tell you other than measuring it with like a freaking more precise measuring stick or something, or like a ruler or whatever. I buy them and they usually come in this size. I don't know what size this is because I bought them in a big pack from saltwaterflies.com. I want to say 5/16 or something, just off the top of my head. So if we take, I mean, unfortunately this ruler doesn't work that well. If I flip over my mat, isn't that in inches? This is in millimeters. So I can tell you how many millimeters it is. Or close to it. Looks to be around 7.5 millimeters or something, 8 millimeter. I think it's a 5/16, but it could be wrong. It could be a little larger. I just remember I bought like hundreds. I can measure it like I have like an L-shaped like straight edge that I use for like building terrain. It has super it also has like nice measuring things. I can measure it and see. But it's not like a freaking 1/2 inch or something or anything like that. Those are pretty big, I think. Or like a 3/4 obviously. Something I've been doing with my squimfish hair is putting some liquid fusion to make sure that the eyes don't fall off, and it also kind of, you can keep your hollow profile where you like it as well. It's one eye though, it's freaking like give me an issue because the purple's kind of sticking up. So let me see if I can. It's kind of annoying because I'm trying to do it on camera, but let me stick this eye back on. This thing's giving me an issue here. I want to reglue it. You son of a gun. Hit that real quick. Move that back some. The appropriate length. There we go. And then we can... Unfortunately, I do need to let this dry before I hit it with the liquid fusion, but I can kind of control it a little bit better with that liquid fusion. That's called E6000, which is a kind of like a construction adhesive. That's what I use for the eyes. Yeah, I kind of wish, unfortunately, the purple got caught here. Like, I wish the purple was more up top. So you see how the blue's kind of streaked in there? That's okay. Works perfectly fine. It's just me being picky. E6000 is clear, transparent. It's flexible. I just read everything on the tube if you didn't realize. But essentially, it's like it's a pretty heavy duty, like, adhesive that it takes a while, like maybe like 3, 4, or 5 hours or like 24 hours to fully dry. But it's very good for securing like 3D eyes to synthetic materials, and then you can coat something on top of it, like liquid fusion, for instance. I wouldn't use UV resin because UV resin could drastically affect the way the hollow tie is. But for instance, we'll just do it now, even though I'd rather have the E6000 fully dry and then push it in and do it. I'll just show you how we do it. You just take some E6000. And it also is water soluble, or it's water based. It dries very thin, so you're not going to add weight. It's like a rubbery type glue, yeah. It's essentially industrial, or it's like a heavy duty shoe glue. I think it's the same people who make shoe glue, but this is like a construction adhesive similar to shoe glue, like way stronger. Could still fall off. The eyes could still fall off, but it works very well for it. Another version is like Loctite Liquid Seal or something, I think. They have. It's similar, like think of like a silicone. It's similar consistency to a silicone, but it's like a glue. I don't know, is silicone technically considered a glue? I don't know. It's more like a sealant, I would say, than a glue. Because baby weakfish, they're not like bunker, right? They don't have the largest thing. Like a goop. Or I think there's a glue called Goop, isn't there? Or is that the brand, right? Something. One or the other. So you really don't need much of this, by the way, either. Because it's going to dry very thin. But so you don't need to, like, worry too much. But I wouldn't, like, layer this on super thick. You do want to, like, wipe it down and wipe the excess off. That's what I usually do. Kind of get it to where we like it. And there we go. Nice and simple. Liquid Fusion, I got this on Amazon. This bottle. You can also find this at, what do you call it? Michael's or Hobby Lobby. But I just got this big bottle on Amazon. I was looking, they have the old bottle that you can buy from like fly shops online, but from what I can tell, this is the new bottle of Liquid Fusion right here. This blue one looks like this. I love how it already looks like it's 10 years old from the wrapper, but I bought this like when I was tying those kinky mothers. So, and yeah. There we go. Also, how's it going, Ken Miller? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And what's going on, Craggroll? What are you doing? I saw your new lamps in reel and the Discord and the flies you were posting. Very nice. Now what I need to do is clean all this squimpish hair off my freaking lap. Using this brush. Look at that. That was from on my lap. That's why it's nice to have a brush for that. I'm having an absolute wild day trying to move my brother out of Vermont. Oh, damn, dude. Well, hopefully it goes easy or goes well for you. I'm sorry to hear if it's giving you a hard time or you're having issues, so hopefully everything goes good and you have a nice, easy move from here on out. All right. I don't know what we're tying next, but this is an owner circle hook. The SSW inline circle hook 5-odd. The hook model is called 5379151. It's a bait hook. $35, by the way, for this fucking pack. Now, mind you, Owner's a very, 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 very solid, good hook brand. I love Owners. But this is a bait hook. But we got it to try out circle hooks. And also, specifically for bluefish, this is a fantastic hook for tying bluefish poppers. And you hook them in the mouth every time, so you never gill hook a bluefish, which is an issue we were having catching the big blues up here on Long Island. They just kept getting gill hooked, and I kept having fish swim off poorly. And I said, I'd rather not fish for them if they're just going to get gill hooked every time. It's not like they're dying every time, but it's like the last thing you want is like to have a chance of having a fish that won't release properly. So the circle hooks, they hook perfectly in the mouth every single time. It's fantastic. I have a video on tying them. But all right, we're gonna take a quick little break, and when we get back, we'll tie another fly. Oh, I saw Biggie Gaming. I saw someone commented earlier and I missed it. Something about owl wives. Was that you? Let me see. Somebody asked something about owl wives, and I saw it while I was reading. Also, Craggle, he's on the 4th floor. There's too much stuff to fit in a Civic. My Silverado. I found out my Silverado headlights aren't working after I took the plow off. Oh God! Just strap some freaking flashlights, mag lights to the front. Are you aware of any alewife patterns? Yes. Oh, I live in New Hampshire and fish the Piscataqua River often, and had a hard time finding patterns to mimic these baitfish. Yeah, of course. For instance, what we just tied here, right? We have a large alewives, which alewives are just a term for herring. It's just a name or like another name for herring. So our herring are very similar shapes to these. Now, whether they're this big or whether they're 1.5 feet long and get up to 2 pounds, right? And there are different species of herring, but we essentially have herring that are about a pound. They're about 12 inches long, and they come into lakes and ponds to spawn. And then striped bass and largemouth. So striped bass will eat them in the saltwater, and then largemouth bass and pickerel will eat them in the freshwater. We're talking about like 5-pound largemouth are eating these like 1 pound. I don't know how the hell they fit these things, but you know what I'm talking about. A big largemouth can absolutely like destroy a like half-pound, a pound herring, you know. And these are big fish. They're bigger than this fly right here, right? So. And the ospreys are eating them. It's really cool. So we were throwing big flies and catching largemouth, me and Mark Sadati. But so essentially just tying these squimpish flies has been working the best for that specific fishery. And this is for like largemouth is what we were fishing. Now, I don't know if you're talking about catching herring or you're talking about imitating them. You're talking about imitating them, right? So are you imitating herring for what? Trout? Are you imitating, are there striped bass in New Hampshire in the river as well? Hollow flies, deceivers, squimpish flies, flatwings, any of the flatwings that I have on my channel, like there's the herring flatwing or whatever. Yeah, really any sort of baitfish fly, but I recommend either hollow fly, flatwing flies, or like squimpish hollows, hollow flies, Bill Catherwood style flies. The grocery deceiver is another fly you can tie. Any sort of larger streamer fly that has a large enough profile. If you tie a regular deceiver isn't going to look like this, right? So this is where the hollow flies and the different techniques, like the squimpish hollows or the bucktail hollows, the palmering of the Rhea hackle and the squimpish flies, right? Or the squimpish technique, or even just tying a Kenny Abrams style fly won't look like this, but from underneath it will look like a herring. So it may just have like some bucktail and some flash and a little bit of Palmer Bill's body braid, but it has this long flat hackle that's tied flat. So in the water, it's just flowing the whole time. So as you're swinging it through the river over rocks and boulders and through a rip or through any eddies and stuff, the fly is like absolutely alive as it's swinging and moving on its own. So there's a ton of different herring patterns. A bunch of any of the larger flies, even if it says bunker, whatever, this is what you need to realize. In saltwater fly tying, and freshwater in particular, a bunker, herring, any sort of bait fish that's that size, you can take any fly and just change the colors, right? You can take any of these flies, just tie them in all white or all black, and it could be a bunker fly, a herring fly. Now, obviously, there's somewhat of a difference between a herring and a mackerel, or a bunker and a mackerel. A bunker is slightly taller and wider and has a slightly bigger profile than a thinner mackerel, so you may just want to thin it down, right? Maybe you want less material for like a mackerel fly. But for like a herring or a juvenile weakfish you see here, those are very similar profiles as well. So you just slightly change the colors, or you just fish in all white, all pink, all black. It doesn't matter. It's the profile and how you fish it, where you're putting the fly, that matters the most. So I highly recommend reading some of Kenny Abrams' books or Ray Bondaroo, because he talks about how to fish for striped bass like you're fishing for salmon, essentially. And that sounds like it would work very well for where you are. So, but yeah, any of these flies, this hollow fly, any of the flies on my channel, it's just, you don't want to tie a small deceiver, right? You got to look at what the profile looks like from the back, from the side, from underneath. A lot of the times these fish will seed the fly from underneath. So that's where like these flatwings come into play. They don't look like a herring from the side, but from underneath, where a striped bass will see the fly 99% of the time, to them it looks like a 10-inch baitfish wiggling in the water, when in reality it's a feather tied flat and some bucktail, right? So yeah, any of the flies we have on our channel that imitate larger baitfish, take that and adapt it to your tying. And you got yourself a herring pattern. We have some herring flies as well on the channel. So, and you'll see some of them look more like a herring than others, because some flies do a better job of imitating baitfish than others. You know what I mean? Like a classic deceiver, God bless Lefty Cray, rest in peace. His fly is fantastic, but it's not anywhere near to the same thing as like a hollow fly when imitating a bunker. But before we had the hollow fly, we had Lefty's deceivers, so people would just tie big deceivers and try and tie them as big as you could to where you could still have the fly turn over properly and try and get that bunker look. And it wasn't perfect, it would work, but we found out later that if you imitate a bunker with like a hollow tie, or like these beast flies or these Sadati slammers, you'll probably, that'll be a huge difference in you hooking up when they're targeted on this big fish. Because going from a 6-inch fly to a 12-inch fly, or even a 8-inch fly to a 12-inch, but more so having that huge profile from side, top, and bottom, where it's this 3D profile that really looks like a bunker, your hookup ratio generally will go up a lot more, because these fish become so targeted that they won't even look at a fly if it's 8 or 9 inches. They'll only look at a fly if it's 12 inches, and they also won't look at it if it's not properly profiled, because they'll know right away whether that's a fish or not. You know what I mean? Like if they're targeting 12-inch bunker and I throw this, I could catch one, but there's a good chance they're not even going to look at it, because this is nowhere near to what an actual bunker at that size is. Like this big, it's probably like freaking that wide, and it's like that tall, and it comes up and tapers around. That's a big bait. You know what I mean? But we're talking about something that a 30, 40-pound bass could eat. And you got to realize a bass's mouth is like it's like a shark's mouth when it opens up. It's absolutely huge, because they don't have teeth. They just use the suction power it's like flushing a toilet. When a striped bass opens its mouth, it just sucks everything in that's right in front of it. Doesn't matter how big it is. So, and then they use their jaws to essentially crush the bait fish and like traumatize it, and then they swallow it. They don't chomp it up. They don't bite it in half like a bluefish does. They use their jaws to crush. So something why clams are so effective as bait, striped bass can literally crush a clam in their mouth. Just like the power of them closing their jaw, they can essentially like crush it. It's very interesting, but striped bass are pretty amazing fish when it comes to the power of their jaws and their mouth and that like sandpaper teeth they have. It's pretty interesting. That's why when you're done striper fishing, your hands will just get destroyed because you get striper thumb, they call it, where your hands just get absolutely shredded. But if you ever commercially fished or bunker fished and you had a striped bass in the net and you go to pick them up, one thing I found out, I went to grab them by the lip and toss them out back into the water from our little bunker vat. And they yelled at me and said, no, don't do that. And I was like, why? Because it was like a 20-pound bass. The thing would have literally broken my wrist because these fish aren't hooked. They were straight out of the water, and they're not like, this isn't trawling or dredging. So the fish aren't like dead. This fish was perfectly healthy and fine. It was probably eating bunker while it was in the net and we were slowly pulling it in. And this thing was perfectly fine and fresh. So the second I went to grab it, it like almost broke my wrist. So I had to like let go and used a shovel. A plastic shovel. I flipped it out of the bunker vat. But they yelled at me. They said it will break your wrist from shaking its head because the striped bass is so strong at that size. The only thing is when we fish, we've hooked them and they burn so much of their energy by the time they get to you that you can handle the fish. But if you take a striped bass and you jump on top of it from a bridge, and try and grab it by the mouth and pull it out of the water and you haven't hooked it, like it could potentially break your hand, essentially, from it thrashing its head. They're so strong. It's crazy. So that was really, they yelled at me. They were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to pick the fish up. They're like, hell no. That thing will break your hand, dude. I'm like, okay. Roger. All right, we're going to take a quick little break again. I'm going to stretch my legs. About every hour or so, I like to stand up. It's good if you've been sitting all day, chat, I'm sure a lot of you maybe been working or something too. It's Friday night. But if you've been sitting down for a little while, maybe stand up, stretch, go hit the hookah lounge. We'll come back, we'll tie another fly, take a look at the Discord, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. So we're going to stream for probably another, 35, 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. But we'll take a quick little break. I'm just going to go use the restroom real quick, and we'll play our other, our other break video. So I'll be back in just a moment. Oh, that one's a little short. That one's a little short. That's about as quick as I can run down, use the restroom, hit the hookah lounge real quick, and make it back. Anything shorter than that ain't gonna cut it. So by the way, as this liquid fusion dries, you can see we can kind of manipulate it some and get the profile to where we really want it. So more and more, I'm liking liquid fusion as a replacement to a lot of things. We used to take like super glue. If you watch my old Squimpish Hollow videos, we would take super glue and apply it to the base of where it was folded back. And that would actually give us a nice kind of like chemical reaction that would happen. A hardened shell would like almost form between the material and the super glue, and it would keep its shape. But I kind of like the liquid fusion and the bucktail on the inside for support nowadays for this particular, for the Squimpish Hollows. So one note, there's an imperfection. There's a slight little gap. I think I probably could have built up a better thread dam. If I left myself a little bit more room, I could have potentially controlled it. I mean, it's barely visible. This is just me nitpicking. Like, I probably could have put a little bit more material potentially on top. But I feel like the white material in general fills out so much better. It's always hard. This, even as me, as somebody who ties flies for a living, it's hard at times to gauge, like, you know, this is a big thing with synthetics, making sure you don't tie too much on the belly versus the top, vice versa. But again, this is not an issue here, and it's swimming fine, but this hook's massive. But just in terms of getting that, like, I can see through the top a little bit more than I can the belly, so it's like, wish I put just a tiny bit more yellow on the inside, perhaps, or something. So I can't help but nitpick with my flies. I'm never satisfied, but I guess that's a good thing with fly tying. So it's never like I hate my flies, but I'm like, ah, man, there's always room for improvement with fly tying. Always room for improvement. Just came back from sliding with a sled. Oh yeah, yeah. We used to love, man, taking inner tubes and stuff, and when it snowed. And like going to this one hill. There was this huge hill that we used to go to, and I remember we would like get hurt every time because it was like a dangerous hill. But we would set up like ramps. We'd be flying on these inner tubes. We'd go flying in the air, get airborne every time, and like land. But being a kid, you could do that. You know what I mean? But I remember it was like the most extreme hill you could sled down, because I have a hill outside my house that we used to sled down. But you know, and you could go and it'd be fun, but I want some speed, you know what I'm talking about? I tried getting into snowboarding, but I probably almost broke my ankles, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. All right. What should we tie now is the question. So we tied this, we'll put the sucker. This is dry enough to where I can lay it down and it can finish drying like that. Why don't we try, you know, we got this Naiad here, and we've been tying big stuff. Why don't we take one of those little size 2s? Why don't we try and tie like a little micro Squimpish fly? Because I feel like I never do a good job tying small Squimpish hollow-esque flies. This size 2 might be a little small. Maybe we'll go with a size 1 odd. Let's tie a smaller fly. That's a size 2 odd. Here's a size 1 hook. Let's tie something smaller. A little smaller baitfish fly with this Naiad and some Squimpish. Just kind of play around with it some more. Obviously, it works pretty good with a larger fly, you would expect. But we could totally play around with it. We'll take a look at the Discord here before the end of the stream. I see some nice flies from Charlie P though. You got to get your fly casting down. We're in the VT, so everything is we're in Vermont, so is dark and closed. So we are at a B&B because anywhere else is sketchy as hell. Oh god. Yeah, I remember like we went upstate in New York to when my buddy had a house at Cooks Falls, and like everywhere's closed. It reminded me of like random parts of France that we went to as we were driving down to Normandy. It was like impossible to do anything after a certain time. Nothing was open. Because like coming from Long Island, like you could go to like 7-Eleven at like 4 o'clock in the morning if you wanted to, you know? And the only place we had to buy food that was like 40 minutes away was a gas station. Otherwise we had to go into the town that was like so far away. There was a Walmart that was like 2 hours away, or like an hour and a half that we would go to or something. It was something like ridiculous. But that reminds me of being up there. There's like nothing. It's a nice thing about living out there, but it's a bad thing, I guess, too, is like it's like a different world than other parts of the U.S. All right. So we're gonna tie. I don't know if we're gonna be I like using ostrich trail for these sorts of things. Maybe we do that, or maybe we just go with some naiad off the back as well. Could be nice. Make this around like, let's see, 1/0 hook. This should be right around like 3 3/4 of an inch usually. Going off memory from measuring flies over the years. So I do need to work on the next video. Next video will probably be coming out either Sunday or early, like either Sunday or Monday. It'll be some sort of fly time video, probably like the crab video or something. But we'll probably do a couple more fly time videos, and then I need to start working on the next big video, like the synthetics. I don't know if it's going to be that, or if it's going to be a fly fishing for striped bass episode series, you know. But I do need to start working on the next. I'm going to try and start doing more of those long form videos because people clearly like watching them. Because there's a lot more work that goes into that as opposed to just me filming a fly and editing it. So I do need to think about that. But so I think I do need to start filming more of those though. Because they do pretty good. Like, because I could see what everybody what's being watched on the channel, you know, throughout the month and stuff, and all those like fly fishing for striped bass videos and stuff. People love watching the most, so. But definitely a time sink, but I think it's worth it because those are the sort of videos you can go back and watch a ton of times. Or like, I've also had like fly fishing clubs tell me that they'll like play videos during presentations or something, or for the club and stuff like that. It's like a great video for them, for a club to play or like whatever, you know. So all right, so we got that. Let's go with a little flash. I don't know what colors I'm using. I have no idea. We're completely free balling this one. So I'm just gonna grab something. I'm gonna go with a little angel hair off the back. Get wild with it. I'm probably gonna go mostly white and then go with different colors for the head, because that's kind of what I like doing. Maybe I'll go with white for the belly. Maybe. Just maybe. Okay, very nice. Now we got to be mindful. Size 1/0 hook. No lead keel. It's very easy to add too much material, so we're going to tie this fly very sparse. Very sparse compared to the other one. Now, I'm going to try and take some of this naiad, cut it, and see if I can taper it. But, I mean, realistically, you can't really. So maybe what I should do is take it and pull the longer hairs away so I don't use the lawn stuff. And we just use this some of the shorter hairs. for the hollow tie. I'm curious, can you take this stuff, fold it in half, and use it? Let's try it. It looks like we actually kind of can. So, just not the like fluffy stuff down near the base, probably, right? But it looks like you can kind of taper it like squimpish hair, which is interesting. That's sick. Go ahead and hollow tie the bottom, top. We'll keep it shorter on the belly than it is on top as well. Something we're going to try and do here. Again, it's pretty sparse. Not a lot of material. What's going on, Cupid? The Choke Me Daddy streamer. Yeah, dude, that's my one of my only trout flies. It's not even, that's just a joke, but yeah. Been a while since I dropped by. Last time we spoke, we were talking about crazy bait names. Yep. Those darn fly tires. Do love those wacky and wild trout fly names. But I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope everything's been good. Let's go a little bit more here. I'm just taking this Naiat, and if it's too long, I'm cutting it in half. It seems like it's working. You can kind of taper it in your hands like this. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, we've been streaming for years. It's been a long time. There was a time where that's pretty much all we were doing was like streaming, or not all we were, but that was like the main content and stuff. But nowadays, a lot of YouTube, mostly YouTube stuff, and just streaming once a week on Friday nights. Hey, those are the trout guys, all right? Us saltwater, we keep it simple. Beast fly, surf candy. It's the freshwater guys you got to watch out for, okay? That's what happens when you spend too much time fishing a river. Those river guys you got to watch out for. You never seen Deliverance? Mm-hmm. Ding 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 ding. Classic Deliverance. All salt guys, we got the ocean, we got beaches, we're good. It's good for the mental health. So those river guys you gotta watch out for. We have dolphins, you know, we have like the fresh salt smell in the air and the sound of the waves. It's like meditation. Apparently fishing for trout drives you to all sorts of degeneracy. I don't know. No, I'm joking. Shout out to, who's the guy that came out with the sex dungeon? It's very, very famous fly tire. Oh my god, his name's blanking on me though. Shout out to him. I feel like that was the start of it, right? The sex dungeon articulated fly. What the hell is that guy's name? Very, very famous fly tire. Kelly Gallup, thank you. Kelly Gallup. Amazing fly tire. But he did open up the floodgates for the degenerate fly tie names. And I do kind of love it, right? Because it's hilarious. I'm just saying, thank God I don't have to say that out loud at fly shows and stuff. I'm a salt tire. But I feel bad for the articulated guys. Get your sex dungeon here. Get your sex dungeons. Yes, thank you, Kelly Gallup. Amazing fly tire, by the way. Amazing fly tire. He's been around for a long time. Yep. Fantastic fly tire. Well, one hell of a fly name, though. Honey, what is this I see you ordered from Orvis? $100 worth of sex dungeons? Your wife's like, what? We gotta talk. Who are you seeing on the side? What is this charge? Sex dungeon from Orvis. He bought like a dozen of them or something. Don't make me laugh. I love it. That is one of my favorite videos that I've made. Was the video? It's an old video. It's still on the channel though. Is of when you pitch your fly names to fly companies, and it's some dude like like the BDSM choke me daddy trout streamer, and like the nipple twister nymph, and like all these dumb names that were all like. That is still one of my favorite videos I've ever done. Every once in a while I'll have somebody mention it to me. It cracks me up every time. I just picture Kelly Gallup talking to some fly company like. Alright, well the fly looks good, Kelly. But what's the name? He's like, now hear me out. Oh God. Look, we already had last time with the shareholders. All right, they're getting pissed off with the names. All right, but look, this one isn't that bad. It's like something terrible. It's like some sort of like crazy Urban Dictionary term or something, you know. Yeah, meat whistle ain't that bad. If you called it his meat stick, Kelly's meat stick, that would be a little worse, or something, you know. Or if he came up with a fly called the throat goat, or something, you know what I mean? Because it has goat hair, pink goat hair in the throat, you know, something like that. Meat whistle ain't the worst. Those guys love chucking meat. Speaking of which, we did. Little Peacock had a rap song about chucking meat. Thank God all that stuff got lost on my computer when I reset it. It turned out my my CPU fans were dying on my computer, but I was like, dude, do I have a virus? Like, I have no idea what's going on because I couldn't figure out what was going on. It wasn't like the computer wasn't necessarily overheating, but it was something weird was going on. So I ended up, just to be safe, reset the whole PC, and I lost a bunch of like music we were making, including like fly fishing rap songs and stuff like that. Another Kelly name, Zoo Cougar and Barely Legal. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. So there's a trend with his flies. Okay, there's a trend. It's really just Kelly Gallup. It's really just Kelly Gallup. What that skit was about. It wasn't about. Everyone's like, no. This is my articulated trout streamer called the flip flop. Meanwhile, Kelly Gallup's like, yeah. What about the butthole special? God damn it! If he wasn't such a good fly tire, we'd kick him out of our club already. Nah, those trout guys love it. Yeah, the butt monkey. There you go. What the I feel like landlocked fishermen are next level. Nah, it's all. You know, we laugh, but this, whether it's fishermen or whether it's mechanics or whether it's the guys that work, whatever, it's all just guys being guys, doing guy stuff, you know what I mean? They're just guys, you know? But yeah, I've heard it before. People are like, oh man, if you worked in a kitchen, you couldn't work because the things that these guys say are crazy. I'm like, dude, I was a mechanic. I worked at a freaking skate. I'd done everything. It's like, this is just guys saying dumb shit to each other. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. It's the same thing. I would just be like, all right, cool. Just you gotta work, especially working somewhere. You gotta watch out, dude. I've had people say some dumb stuff, and there'd be like a customer right there. So I learned. I was like, watch what you say when you're working, you know. I learned that early on. Meanwhile, I saw other people saying some crazy wild stuff. I'm like, dude, you better watch out. Just dude stuff, dudes being dudes. My favorite thing, I say it all the time. There was this old guy, and when I say old guy, he was just like 30 years older than me, right? He was like probably in his 50s, like late 50s, so he's not even old. I shouldn't call him old because that's mean. Because I'll be there soon one day. But this older gentleman that I worked with, and fisherman as well, big into shark fishing and tuna fishing. But we went fishing a couple times too. Really nice guy. And he liked hitting the old hookah lounge as well. So we had that in common. But he would always say like, oh, good enough for government work. So we'd wait until the boss walked by, and he'd be like putting the carburetor back on this like 68 Camaro. Like he rebuilt it, and he did a beautiful job. He killed it every time. But he would just to piss off the boss, because our boss like wasn't paying us enough and this and that. So he would just fuck with the boss. He'd be like, so he's like, oh, how'd you make out with this car? You know, he's supposed to do good. This guy's, you know, he's got a lot of money. Did you do a good job? And he'd be like, yep. He's like, yep, should be good enough for government work or something, he would say. And my boss would get so mad every time. So as like he's putting the wheel on, he'd be like, yeah, that looks all right. Good enough for government work. And my boss would be like, hey, what are you talking about? You got to make sure you're doing it right. And of course he did it right every time. But every time it got my boss so upset. And thank God I don't work there anymore. But so that was like a fun pastime. We would say that just to like fuck with the owner. like, is that? Do you think the wheel's gonna stay on? Yeah, it's fine. It's good enough for government work. Like as the owner's walking by, just to fuck with them. Good times, dude. Good times. So you see, keeping it sparse here, by the way. Sparse is important. You don't need much. By the way, the more I use this Naiat, the more I love it. I gotta get like somebody to start farming these animals in my backyard or something. Well, I'm from the Philippines, and we don't have the same thing in terms of bait or fly culture. They will literally just hand you a barnacle, indicate to use it as bait. Have you ever fished outside the U.S.? Oh yeah, in Turkey, many times. And all they do is handline fish, probably the same thing that they do in the Philippines, where they just have literally a piece, like a line and a hook, with either like on a small spool, or they just have it on like a tiny stick or something. That was like what everyone was doing. And even in France, that's how a lot of people were fishing. When we went to France, some people did have fishing rods and stuff. Mind you, a lot of this was in Paris, but yeah, in Turkey I've done a lot of fishing, and it's very similar to probably how they fish in the Philippines. A lot of handline fishing, and just using whatever you can get your hands on. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I used to just use mussels that I would find on the bridge and use them as bait and catch burgalls. But over the years, got more into stuff like this. But yeah, my father's Turkish, so he comes from that sort of... He used to fish a long time ago as a kid, when there actually were fish in Turkey, and then they pretty much overfished everything, and now there's only like snappers and like small fish. Like you won't find like 30-pound bluefish or striped bass. You know, they have species like that, but they just don't get big because they're fishing. They just overfished everything to hell over there, unfortunately. But when my dad was growing up, they do in fact have actual bluefish, the same species of bluefish in the Mediterranean. What do you call it? Or the same type of fish. It's literally a bluefish. I've caught them before. They used to have like 10, 15-pound ones, but again, this was back in the 60s or 50s in Turkey. They ended up just overfishing everything, you know. Dynamite fishing, there you go. That'll work. So that is a reason why, you know, we are, you know, there is a ton of regulation here in the U.S. and stuff, but it is kind of necessary to make sure to have a healthy fishing population. Because unfortunately, if you just let people do what they want, they will just catch everything. That's just how it works. They'll just catch and keep it all. Because why not? It's free. So... that being said, there is some amazing sports fishing in Turkey. There is like bluefin tuna, stuff like that. But like any of this sort of stuff from shore, like it's going to be tough going from shore and catching like a fish over like catching a fish bigger than this is very tough. Like if you see people fishing whenever we went to Turkey, anything anyone was catching was like, it looked like you could use it as a fly. It was smaller than this, you know? It's like they were catching silver sides and little herring, and that's what they were fishing for, like little sardines or something. So there are like legit fishing opportunities out there, but like from the traditional way you see people fishing is like off bulkheads and off like seawalls and stuff over there in Turkey, and or like off jetties and stuff, and using bait and hand lines, and they're really just fishing for like, you know, small, essentially like baitfish type stuff is what we would consider it here in the US as like striper fishermen. Never heard of this Naiat. So Robert, we got it because recently we had somebody, one of the guys or one of the companies I tie for that goes rooster fishing, said, hey, there's a fly called the Nayaka baitfish, and we looked it up and we were like, what the hell is this thing? So we couldn't figure it out. It's like some sort of artificial bucktail, and I saw on JS Fly Fishing, I don't know why in my head, because I don't think it is this Naiat fiber, but I saw this Naiat fiber and thought maybe that's what they used with it. So what I did is I called what do you call it? You called your mom called you upstairs because the meatloaf was done. All right, it's all good. You back crab fly? Okay, good. I bought this trying this out, and essentially it's similar to like an artificial fox or goat hair. It's like artificial goat or sheep hair is in reality is what it is. Somebody looked it up, but it's like a European goat or sheep, and it's got more of a crinkly type hair. So it's stiffer than your average like sheep or goat hair, and it's long enough to where you can use it for this sort of stuff with like hollow ties. And so we ended up getting, I know David Nelson, I think, and some of the folks at Squimpish have been using some. So we got it, and I've like actually really liked it. It's really sick. It's working really good. It's apparently it's some sort of European, probably close to the Arctic, you know, cold area goat or sheep hair is what it is. And they just call it Naiat fiber. It comes from Canada. It's this particular brand was like the Skeena River Fly Fishing Co., I think was the brand. But I got it from JS Fly Fishing, if you're interested. It's like a natural squimpish hair that's more crinkly or something. Yeah, you see it on JS. Yep. So we've been mixing it with squimpish hair, and it's been really nice. But you can like use it as like a bucktail-esque type thing, you know. Because I have sheep hair and I have goat hair. I have Arctic goat, Arctic sheep. I have like freaking, what do they call that? Like the muskox type hair. I have so many different hairs from over the years, and this is like, I've never used one like this. This is like it's got its own texture, which is nice. It seems like it works really well with like striper hollows and musky hollow type flies, you know? Yeah. And we've been like tying bucktail with it or squimpish. What I like doing is like we've been doing the hollows like this and then doing a squimpish collar in front. But you could easily tie it and then maybe tie some bucktail on the inside, or tie it on the inside of a bucktail hollow if you want to tie more of like a beast fly and get some. Because, you know, if you just tie it with, like, you just take bucktail and you tie a hollow fly, it's fantastic, but it looks a certain way. If you take some like alpaca fur, or you take some of this sort of stuff and tie it on the inside, a very small amount, it does change the look of the fly and how it breathes in the water and all that. So there are merits to all these things. I was a little worried that I maybe have too much on the belly, but I think it's all right. I was going to add more on top. That's why I'm kind of playing with it right now. But I'm keeping it pretty sparse overall, excuse me. I usually try and mute when I cough, but This is just me getting... Oh my god, we've reached the 3-hour mark. Holy shit. Somebody call Keith. We did it, chat. You see what happens when you put a little Nyatt fiber in my hands? Jeez. Somebody call Keith. I have no idea. Somebody named Keith left a message about me not streaming for 3 hours because I mentioned it once. He like left it in the comment, or they left it in the comment. I'm assuming that it's he, for all I know. And it just always cracks me up because I never responded to it. So if I don't respond to a comment, because I usually respond to every comment, then it stays in my dashboard. So it's the thing I see every time is that comment about 3 hours. Yeah, right. So so it's just so funny how it's like a meme on the channel. It's gonna be like Jerry. It's gonna be like, we did it, Keith. We hit 3 hours. Shout out to Keith, bro. Keith is a real person though. I commented on the channel. Shout out. I love you, Keith, by the way. This is not in any bad faith. I'm just having fun. But I do like I do like thinking about it every time now. We did it. We hit 3 hours, Keith. Oh, let's go. So I could do another hollow tie. I have like no room. I literally have no room. I was going to do a squimpish hollow. So hear me out. We're doing an angel hair head. Do I have a gasp? I don't have gasps. Damn it. I wish I had a gasp noise. I'm going to do a witch noise. But I wish I had a gasp. What if we did that? Angel hair head. Hear me out. Let's try it. Let's just try it. I gotta get a gasp. I thought I had a gasp sound effect, but thinking back, I don't know why I thought I had a gasp sound effect, because I've never used one ever, but I should. By the way, I set up that cheer, that laugh, and that angry sound effect for my soundboard, and I haven't added anything ever since. But if you watch the streams, you know I use it. I get my money's worth out of that stream deck that I bought. Just being able to do this with a push of a button and then hit buttons like this. I have essentially a touchpad with everything set up on my computer. It's so nice. Some of the stuff Elgato makes sucks, but the Stream Deck is very good. I do like the stuff Elgato makes, but it's just like some of the stuff I've had like troubleshooting issues with over the years and stopped working, whatever. But the Stream Deck, you don't even need that for streaming. You can just use that as somebody who has a computer. If you want to use it, you could set it up as like hotkeys, essentially. It's really nice. Or if you're like, you want to, if you have like a freaking entertainment system or something, you're in your kitchen cooking, you could be like, boop, 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 pushing buttons and like having things turn on and off. It's nice. It's the future. Technology. Beep, boop, boop, boop. All right, little angel hair head. Looking nice. Chat, remember to save your hypes for Li Flies Mike. Hey, thank you, Gene. Appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. Hope you're, hopefully your son's doing better. Yep. Those hypes help. Those hypes help a lot. For sure. I mentioned one of my videos on my other channel, Mike Rose Dice, was one of the most hyped videos in, was it Romania? I think it was, or somebody in like, I think it was Romania or somewhere, maybe Bulgaria or somewhere, or something. It was like one of the most hyped videos in a country. Or in the top 100. It was just so funny. Because I was like, there must be nobody watching freaking... There's no way I got that many hypes on Mike Rolls Dice. But you never know. You never know. Maybe they love me over there, dude. What's going on, big guy? What material did you use for the body? Nyat, which you can get on JS Fly Fishing. Dude, we got to get JS to give me like a coupon code where I can earn a little kickback from you guys. You know what I mean? You got a discount? Hit me up, JS. What's up? I'd love to do that with saltwaterflies.com, but he's essentially like a mom and pop shop, right? So it's a little hard. But JS, I feel like a freaking large enough online fly shop. We should have an LI Flies Mike coupon code where I get like a little kickback. You guys don't pay anything extra. And we send, you guys are buying all your Nyat fiber from JS. You know what I mean? Somebody write that. Write it in your email. Be like, yo, where's my LI Flies Mike coupon code? It didn't work. Just type, everyone do that. Be like, hey, I tried putting my LI Flies Mike coupon code. He's the YouTuber. Why don't you have one? Next time you order from JS, just do that every time. And they'll be like, eventually somebody will reach out and be like, hey, are you telling people? I'll be like, no, I don't know what you mean, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's funny. We got a Squidfish code for you guys. I don't get any I don't earn anything from it, but it's you guys get 15% off, so. And it supports Squidfish Share, so that's why I like doing it. But I will say, it would be nice, you know, they got all these content creators where their fans get a discount and they earn like a tiny percentage just to help. Every bit helps nowadays. We gotta get that set up. You'll do all right. Okay. Be like, hey, yeah, where's my LI Flies Mike coupon code ain't working. Nah, don't do that. And you could do is be like, yeah, LI Flies Mike told me to check out, or told me to get some Nyat fibers from you guys. You said you rock. No, you ain't gotta fuck around. All that stuff will happen naturally. One of these days, they'll be like, you know that LI Flies Mike guy? I love his synthetic fly tying video. I don't know why I gave him an accent like that, the JS fly tying people, or fly fishing people, but it's a noble accent. Yep, that LI Flies Mike guy. He's got some good Albie videos. Alright, this looks pretty sick. I mean, tell me that right there. Just doesn't do it. Use code coupon Nyat for absolutely nothing off. Yeah, and tell them LI Flies Mike sent you. Use code Nyat for 0% off, and tell them LI Flies Mike sent you. There you go, perfect. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Now, I don't know what the hell I'm doing still streaming. We've already streamed for 3 hours. Keith is going to be over here in no time saying, well, what the hell? You ain't going to stream another 3 hours every time? What do you like about Nyat versus Bucktail? I mean, dude, this Bucktail's $25. So there's that. This Nyat was like 13 bucks or something. So it's longer. Kind of cheaper-ish, I guess, but to be fair, you really don't get as much, and it kind of does go somewhat quickly, so you got to use it pretty short, or you want to use it sparsely. And that being said, bucktail is kind of more reliable, right? You can get it anywhere, but getting good quality bucktail is tough. But yeah, this is really nice. I do like this. It's just longer. It's easier to work with when it comes to stuff like this. Like, this bucktail is amazing. This is I mean, I got it for 20 bucks. Shout out to Brad Buzzy. He gave me a discount, but I think it's like a $25. It's one of his premium bucktails. But even with that, like, this is a fantastic bucktail, but it's like trying to get bucktail consistently that is this long, for instance, is like impossible. So it's kind of like the way I consider Nyat fiber in my head is this is a natural squimpish hair that's a little bit crinklier and stiffer, which happens to be a good thing because squimpish hair is somewhat soft. And because of that, it even though it's fantastic for hollow tying, it doesn't have the same stiffness that bucktail does and the same springiness. It looks like it's between EP fiber and bucktail in terms of its thickness and crinkliness. That's a good way of mentioning it. It's a softer, maybe, EP fiber, or not softer. It's hard to say, maybe like a more natural EP bucktail sort of fiber. But again, it does, like, if you look at it, it looks very much so like a Arctic fox, or like an Arctic goat, or Arctic sheep hair. Like I'll show you right now. This right here is Arctic goat. Very similar materials. Arctic goat, super soft, not crinkly at all. You see how, like, not crinkly? It's like it's almost like fine hair. It's like horsehair almost, right? But this is an Arctic goat. This is essentially another sort of Arctic goat or sheep. But it clearly, or some sort of cold weather sheep or goat, but it comes from Europe. It must be a different species or different, breed of goat or sheep or something, because it has a much crinklier fiber to it. So I'll show you here. We'll zoom in. You can see this is like your traditional Arctic sheep or Arctic goat. I think it's goat. It's very soft, right? And then this is the naiad fiber, which I don't think the animal's not called a naiad. This is what they called the hair, right? Because you got to call it something cool nowadays. But there are other similar type materials. Like, I don't even know what this is, but it's something. I want to say David Nelson gave me this. I think he gave me this. Or maybe I got this from my buddy. This David Nelson definitely gave me. This is like one of their materials, I think. These are very similar sort of things, but much softer. Yeah, like sheep, Icelandic sheep. Yes, thank you, Icelandic sheep. Yep. Naiad is, if you ask me, is lawn-haired sheep. I don't think it's Icelandic sheep. Or if it is, it's like much rougher fibrously. It's much crinklier than traditional Icelandic sheep I've gotten in the past, I feel like. But who knows? I don't know. I get these things mixed up a lot. So is it freaking goat? Is it what? This, that? Arctic, Icelandic? I have used Icelandic sheep in the past. I feel like that's that blue stuff that I have. But this seems stiffer and crinklier. It's an Icelandic or Scandinavian sheepbred. Yeah. Seems like it. But anyways, check out the result. This is just naiad with a little bit of bucktail for some stiffness in the tail. And then just doing a 60-40 tie of angel hair on the front. And I mean, it's kind of hard to beat. I would put eyes on it, but that would probably ruin the fly. So we'll just fish it like that, you know? You can get a pleth, or for €200 hair up to 5 to 8 inch. You just have to dye yourself. Are you talking about like an entire freaking sheep? What do you call it? Patch, essentially? Yeah, try out the naiad, Robert. I think you'll like it. I've been having a blast with it. It's fun. If I could get a freaking giant patch, I would love it. Yeah, you can get a pelt. Yeah, so you can get like the entire skin, essentially. Or something. Or close to it. Because I'm assuming for €200, I mean, you're probably gonna get... It better damn near be like the whole freaking... Maybe not, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe we'll think about getting a giant patch of it. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of just want it in white. Because what I want to do is I want to tie a fly like this, right? For like Angler's Marketplace. And just literally using... I love using white for a majority of the fly and then putting colors in the front or putting colors on top, you know? It's basically a small rug. Gotcha. Do you live where you can ice fish? No, not really wildly. In fact, just today, 3 people had to get rescued. Not that I live near the city, New York City, but in Jamaica Bay, which is in Queens. 3 people were like out walking on the bay and fell in the ice and had to be rescued. Now, mind you, that's the bay. There are freshwater bodies here on Long Island, and I have seen people ice fish, but we don't have stable enough temperatures on Long Island here. We're like we're like the lowest point in New York that you can essentially go, as far south in New York as you can. And jutting out into the ocean, sometimes our temperatures are a little bit warmer than other parts of the Northeast. So like, I don't know, our temperatures aren't really stable enough for like ice fishing. I'm genuinely convinced that I would probably fall through the ice if I tried it. So it's never really thick enough ice to do it, in my opinion. And we don't. I don't know. It's not super big here on Long Island, but I know it's super popular in other places. Damn, Sandman, these look sick, bro. So what do we got here? What are you using for the bodies if you're still here? It looks like felt. Did you make this yourself? I want to make my own crab bodies out of felt. Or is that floating? You said these are floating. Well, those are floating because they're deer hair spun. And then these are what? Pre-made crab legs you bought, right? That are cut out of like a floating felt. I want to make my own crab bodies, like the EP style ones, but I want to make my own. So no wade fishing in your region right now? No. Because there's ice, but there's no... It's not thick enough to walk on, so no. Those look sick, though. And looking good. We got candies. We got half and halves. We got some hollow-esque flies. We got, looks like articulated squid flies, because they're, like, turned. And we got some fluffy-looking boys. Squimpish candies, by the way. Just felt. So what, you cut these yourself? Where are you getting the felts, by the way? I want to make my own crab bodies, so post a link in the Discord if you can of the felt, where you're getting it. Because I want to make a video on cutting your own crab bodies. Oh, Doc made the floating ones. Here we go. These look sick, too. Look at you guys and your fancy crab flies, huh? So this is what the chenille that we were using. This is why I got it. To make your own legs and all that. Nice. So these are foam bodies, right, Doc? I think these are foam. I do like the fluffiness off the front. I've seen with some different crab flies. I want to start doing that too. I've seen the crystal flash ones. But beautiful. Both beautiful. Art and crafts shop should have the felt. Okay. I made my own stencil and just cut them to shape by hand. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I do like it. In Craggerall, we got some Royal Wolfs, right? Or Wolfs. How do you pronounce it? Royal Wolfs? How do you pronounce it? It's a wolf, right? Royal Wolf. Very nice. I like this too. The hand-done art on the box. Very nice. Oh, the snow runner here. Yeah. And we saw this last time. Yeah, if you haven't, check out Fly Fishing or Fly Tying with Synthetics, the new video that's out on the channel. It's been out for 4 days now, but it's a banger. So go watch it if you haven't, and go watch it again if you have, or just put it on in the background while you're vacuuming for the algorithm gods. And then we also got the new Microlls Dice video, which this video is doing fantastic too. Rumble in the Jungle, baby. Japanese versus British Commonwealth conflict. And we got the Lamson here from Craggerall. I guess he had a fly shop closed down, which sucks recently, but he got a good deal on this Lamson right here. The liquid. I do like Lamsons. Good cheap reels. Good cheap reels. And Charlie P. Look at this. Tying great flies. Well. I'll allow it. Hey, look, we already learned. Crabs have different numbers of legs and claws. We're seeing a lot of, threes and then claws. Sometimes there's fours and claws. It's the beautiful things about crabs. But, Charlie, these are looking great. You got to get your fly casting down because your fly tying's decent. Like, this looks perfect. Beautiful looking fly right there. Is that squimpish too? That's squimpish hair. Very nice. I can just tell. Yep. See how thin it is compared to the bucktail? It's just like a thinner bucktail. And we got some, it looks like some squimpish maybe here in the front, maybe? But I like this. This is like a shady lady looking type fly. Oh, this is squimpish as well. Yep, yep. And this is squimpish. Nice, nice, nice. This is sick. Yeah, this looks good. Sometimes they lose them too. Yes, you got to think about birds. They may have been born with a certain amount of legs, but dude, they still have those legs because of birds. Because birds are assholes when it comes to being a crab. And we got, yeah, Shinobi with a nice fish. We saw this. Beautiful looking trout. I think we're caught up with everything. We got some music stuff people have been suggesting. If you guys haven't, dude, you got to check out this band. It's, I believe, a French band. They're called Anginedepoitrine. I used to take French for 4 years. So I used to Agni de Poitrine probably is how you pronounce it, something like that. Dude, this fucking band right here, I'm obsessed with. You have to check them out. There's a drummer, and there's a dude with a guitar and a bass in one, kind of like a double neck. But I tell you what, right here, this made me want to pick up the guitar and start playing again. Check this out. I posted in the Discord. It's fantastic. But people post a lot of cool stuff here in the Discord, different music too. So Sunny Kim posts a lot, and we got Shinobi posting some. But check out that band. That's my submission. If you haven't, they're a French band. Yep, they're masked up. They all wear like polka dot and crazy masks. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into the band lore. I don't know if they're unknown or if they do know who the band is or something. But oh my god, it's so good. They kind of do have like a bucket head thing going on where it's like, you know, you can't tell who they are. But I've just started recently getting into them. I don't know the deep lore. I haven't like looked up all of it. And they're French too, so that doesn't help. So I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. But YouTube just recommends stuff to you sometimes, and it's just a blessing. You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, chat, somebody call Keith. We hit the 3 hour mark. We did it. They said it couldn't be done. And Ally Flies Mike 3 hour stream. And with that being said, it's 10 o'clock. So I'm going to get the hell out of here. And, you know. Yeah, they look like plague doctors. They definitely have a plague doctor thing going on right now. Agnine de Poitrine is like heart pain. Ah, okay. Interesting. Well, the music is... It sounds like in the beginning of the song, they start out, and then they build it up. It's super chaotic. I feel like you could have a heart attack listening to that song at one point. And then they just start rocking it out. They slow it down, and it's just the sort of... Once I heard him playing this one guitar riff, I was like, okay, this is my sort of band here. Because my dad loves playing like these weird scales on guitar, and this dude was like right in that sort of alley of like... You know, instead of the traditional minor, major, pentatonic stuff, he was doing some funky stuff that was right up our alley that we like around here. So, very good band. I highly check it out. I recommend checking it out. And he's using a looper. So he's playing the bass and the guitar, looping them at the same time. And the dude's drumming, the drummer's killing it. But anyways, chat, thank you so much for watching. You have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in, both on Twitch and YouTube. Doc, of course, the Crab Fly Police. Threm, appreciate it, or hopefully I'm saying that right, or the Rem. Hayes, yo Hayes, hope you're doing good, dude. Appreciate it. Sorry if I missed you there. Finished the 3D design seals for my cheap CNC reels. Oh, the seals for the CNC reels. That's what it was. Yep. You just need to test it in a bucket. Hell yeah, dude. Sounds good. And then you'll have some guides and a link. Very cool, dude. Angler's Ram, thank you so much for handing out. Calvin, thank you again. Mall Dropper, Neves, thank you. And I want to give a shout out to Archer, 24 months on Twitch. Brew with the 73 months. Thank you again, folks. Appreciate it. You have a great weekend. You can trust my French. I'm from Quebec. All right, sounds good. Rob, thank you so much. All right, chat, you take it easy, all right? We'll see you guys. You have a great weekend. You be safe, and we'll see you next Friday for some fly tying. All right?